Hello and welcome to the Pens and Pixels Popcast. I'm your host, Cal G. And to my left is the coordinator extraordinaire,
Mike Kent.
The Popcast is the place you come to if you want to hear about the art and news of video games, comics, and movies that week.
So if you like sass, if you like crass, then you don't want to give this Popcast a pass.
Sizzle me timbers! That's a hot one! So anyways, this week, as you know, it was E3, and we're going to be going down press conference by press conference with extra details that you might not have known for certain games.
Yeah, there was a lot of side content and even gameplay information that wasn't shown, even live gameplay demos and stuff like that. We've conglomerated, is that the word? Gathered?
That's probably the safe word to go with.
Yeah, there's a fancier word for gathered. All that information together for you guys, and we're going to break that down for you today. No newsy news.
Yeah, no newsy news.
This is technically news.
No second segment. We might take a break, but that's just for our voices. Keeping Mike.
No.
Deal. Then it's time for the extended E3 extravaganza. Alright, let's kick things off. Mm-hmm. EA.
First presenter.
First off, general impressions. What do you think of EA?
For their press conference?
Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't think?
I didn't think about them after it happened. I was just like, that was a show.
That's understandable, yeah.
They didn't see... Did they put on a big performance of any kind?
Not really. They had like a YouTuber up there who fumbled his dialogue a little bit. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, but no like drums and like...
No, they did. They actually started with drums, literally with drums.
Oh, okay.
like a drum line came out. And
I got in a few minutes or later, but I didn't notice like performances going on with the show.
No, not after that. It was just a fairly average press conference.
It felt very withheld, was the other thing, too. Where, we got...
No, that's every year. This was, a stunning year for EA. That's every year it feels withheld, because they don't have anything good to show.
It's true. It just feels like the content that it presented was withheld.
They literally never got 1 year with a good, Mass Effect showing.
No.
Because there's 2 years in a row where they just gave us, a dev diary type thing, with people at their computers being like, I know what an Asari is, and then going back to work. And they never actually got, a good trailer out of it, you know?
No, we never got a trailer for any of it. Even... later, those trailers didn't even come out during anything.
No, they came out the February before it came out.
Yeah.
So EA, in my mind, had one game of consequence, and that was A Way Out. Me and you we should qualify this. You and I aren't huge Star Wars fans. Are you?
I'm not. I'm dressing up in the clothing and running in for first day opening, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Mm. Oh, so you don't have I'm surprised a little more that you don't have any interest in Battlefront 2.
It's the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an interest in that game. I don't have an interest of playing a third-person drone and running around and competing in some, war with some... I don't know. I've played Battlefront games, and the system has never been fun to me. Mm. I've never been like, wee, this is going to be so much fun. So
a single-player campaign doesn't interest you in that?
No. You can put any skin on that shit, and I'm not interested. I don't care. You can make it Star Wars, you can make it Star Trek, you can make it... I don't fucking know. You can make it... the entire X-Men team versus the Avengers, and I still wouldn't really care because it's not what I'm looking for. If I want to play a Star Wars game, and they have a story mode, I want a dedicated system for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Force Unleashed, it was that the first one. It had a very dedicated, particular focus of making sure, hey, by the way, you're gonna feel like the most super duper Jedi ever existing.
Your name's Starkiller,
which was dumb, but. That's what I would look for, and I want a dedicated story and a character that I can, empathize with. And at the same time, I always have a hard time with, film-to-game games, because while I really love Spider-Man, and I can play as Spider-Man, that's a little bit different, but in Star Wars, I don't really want to play as any of those characters. Their story is being told to me in the film, and anything I do with that character in the game is never happening in the movie, and they're never going to reference it in the movie. This is just like playing a really bad Dragon Ball Z movie. It's not something that's ever going to be referenced. They're never going to talk about that android they killed that time. It's just non-consequence, fan service at the end of the day.
Sure. I think you might have an argument from some people that no game does that, but...
What?
Affect any media it's attached to.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. The games that have attachments to television or film, they don't have that, and none of them do.
Mm. Yeah. Oh, I see it. So as a whole, that's just appealing to you.
Yeah, but Spider-Man works just because, you want to be Spider-Man. There is, if they were hey, this is a new Spider-Man, name your Spider-Man. That would be weird. So they're not going to get you in to replace it, but I'm not going to play as Darth Maul and feel like, oh, I'm in Impact. Like, I know he gets cut in half. I know he turns into a Spider-Man.
Bring it all back around, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Okay, so let's that's enough about fucking Star Wars. Neither of us care.
Yeah.
Let's talk about A Way Out.
Yeah.
What a cool looking game.
It's a really neat idea.
So if you don't know, Way Out, go watch the trailer. It's two convicts, I guess, in a prison, and they're doing it's a prison break, much like the TV show. It's like a prison break, and then you go on this journey, I guess, trying to escape the law after that.
Yeah, so I think it's like you and your best friend or brother or something.
Seems like reluctant partners.
Reluctant partners?
Yeah, from the trailer.
But you play as that, but the neat part about it is it's a co-op game that even online is split screen. So even if I was playing at home on my PlayStation and Cal was playing here, it would still split screen it for us because we have to watch what the other person's doing. And
it's neat that concept is finally actually, like, screen watching has made it into, like, an actual gameplay thing, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But even on the other side that's cooler is, like, we've talked about this before, like, we don't get together with friends anymore and, like, sit down and pop open a game and play together on the couch. They're, like, literally, here, sit down on the couch. Even if you're far apart, you're still going to play the exact same way. Split the screen, and you two are going to try and make this whole thing function. And I want to see how it plays out. Like, I really want to play and be like, I don't know, Cal, by the way, go over and distract the guard. I've got to push the laundry hamper that has our tools.
And even if you don't say it, you can make that split-second decision, because maybe I see the guard coming down the hall, and you don't, so I can react faster, and then I can tell you, there's a guard fucking coming down the hall, go over there, and you're like, oh, shit, you know, and then you scatter.
It's going to be neat, the organic nature of what could happen. And if they give you enough options, like if the options were just literally you need to get the laundry hamper over here, but that's the only way to escape is to unlock the doors, get the laundry hamper with the key in it over, that would be less like organic, because every single time you'd just be like, all right, it's key time. Like, it wouldn't be...
I have a feeling that's the way that game is going to be.
No, the gameplay demo they did, they said it was... you had many options on different routes.
Oh, okay, sure.
But what I mean is we needed a lot. Like, okay, maybe I'll put you in the laundry hamper and we'll try and push you through. Maybe we'll try and actually just sneak around or something. Like, giving me a lot of very different options is going to make it much more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm excited about the story because the last game that these developers did was highly praised for its story. It was called A Tale of Two Sons, like Brothers or something. Mm-hmm. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. I never played it. Apparently had an interesting gameplay mechanic. It was highly praised for its gameplay and story. So it's just cool to see these guys finally do something again. Because they are, as far as I know, a very small team.
They probably, but I've never played it, and hopefully it's for the best. But they made a game that looks pretty impressive, and it fit with the E3.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just a weird one for EA to show off, because it was like, here's our one cool thing that might interest a person.
That's what I meant by very, like, forced, but, like, reluctant. They're just like, yeah, we got stuff. Sort of, but we might have other stuff. We have stuff that's showing later too. Like, that was the whole conference. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like they were like, we're just holding the show now because we always hold the show.
Yeah, and I think a couple people suffered from that.
Yeah.
Bethesda. Okay, so that was EA overall. Like, really, that's all I wanted to touch on for EA.
Didn't they have other games that were of interest?
No,
none. Did we even talk about these before? No others.
No, because I'm not interested in them. I can't imagine you were either. There was like the fucking Need for Speed game.
No.
You don't care.
I don't care about
that. That was like the next most interesting looking one.
No, yeah, okay. Alright. They had a car.
Did they? Did they have a car too?
Yeah, the whole Forza thing. Wasn't that with EA?
No, it's Microsoft.
Oh, fuck. Everyone has a car.
Speaking of Microsoft, they were up next on Sunday morning, sorry. And they had a good conference. They put on a pretty solid show.
Yeah, borrowed content.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, though. You keep saying that in this disparaging way, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, third parties should be in your press conference, I think.
Yeah, and Sony is not...
like Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't an exclusive, nor is it a first-party game.
No, but it's like when Sony's your publisher, Sony's your publisher. With these guys, a couple of the games were very much like, we have our own show, we have our own thing, like Anthem. And they're like, we'll put a trailer here, but we're also going to show at the Microsoft show because Microsoft is just trying to get some attention.
Yeah, I think Microsoft is also part of the marketing deal with Anthem because Anthem is like a direct Destiny competitor.
Yeah.
And PlayStation already has a deal with Destiny, which you can see in their press conference. And like, so I don't think that Destiny would have been very happy if they were like, oh yeah, we're also sponsoring this other game next to you guys. And they're like, what?
Yeah,
we look like shit compared to that.
There's no exclusivity to Xbox with Anthem.
No, not that we know. I think it might just be like a marketing deal.
Yeah, but there's no even like, you know how Destiny has the Sony exclusives. Yeah. There's no Anthem exclusive.
Well, A, not that we know, but B, yeah, you're totally right. Yeah. I think it's just a marketing deal.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like it's like
they get to have their name first.
No, it's even in the in Destiny marketing. They don't get to show the Xbox logo, even though it's on Xboxes. It does the PlayStation swirl at the end and it leaves. Destiny's on Xbox. Yeah, but they just don't let you know that. It's shit like that, right? Like it's yeah, which I think is totally fine. But to compound your point, yeah, Microsoft had like no fucking exclusives here. No. Which if you take a step back and you look at it, like you're like, oh, there's like 3 things here that are actually exclusive, and I can play everything else on my PlayStation, you know, and then that's it. So there was no reason to buy their big announcement, the Xbox One X. What do you think of the name? We didn't talk about this.
Oh, bad. Why can't they just count like PS1, PS2, PS3?
They fucked it up way too early on.
Yeah. Then they're like Xbox One. Okay. Oh wait, there's something else in between that.
So apparently the logic behind them naming it was Xbox and then it was Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And then the logic behind that was, well, we can't have Xbox 2 because we're going up against the PlayStation 3 and people will think it's less powerful. Yeah. So Xbox 360. Cool. Great. Then the next one, they're like, Xbox One against the PS4. And you're like, why? Why? And I think that was remember when they were doing the whole, all like, you could have TV and movies and sports on this. It's all in one. It's the Xbox One. It's the one thing you'll need. Like that kind of shit.
But also the other one does all the one things you'll need.
And then now it's the Xbox One X, which is, X is a powerful number, I guess. Letter? Whatever.
I don't know.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I would have preferred if they just called it the Scorpio and just changed the name. The Xbox Scorpio would have worked fine.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But... No, it's hard to say. That's the problem. Xbox One X. Like, do it 10 times fast.
I think the biggest problem is that it sounds a lot like their other one, Xbox One S, which is the slimmer, smaller version of the Xbox One.
Yeah.
When you're just saying it, it sounds like, or if you slur your word a little bit, it's just Xbox One S, Xbox One X. You know, it's like,
But at the same time, like, how often you're going to say you're on an Xbox, right?
Yeah, you just say Xbox.
Yeah, but like they didn't even think about an acronym because like what do you play on the PS4, right? Like, I can do that. Yeah. But I'm not going to... Every time I have a conversation with you and I talk about whatever console I'm on, I can pop out PlayStation, but I can't pop out... So I was playing on the Xbox One X, and on my Xbox One X, I had to get the new special service that is offered by Xbox One X. Like, I'm already losing track.
You would just say Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the abbreviation for the Xbox One X is Xbox. XBO. X. Pretty good! If that was your guys' plan all along, hey, great. Yeah, the Xbox One X... Big ol' whatever. I mean, powerful system's all good, but if you don't have the games you want to play on there, then why would you get the system, you know? It's, why don't you just use a powerful PC, or if you already have a PS4 Pro, whatever. You've upgraded, but that's because your PS4 died.
But at the same time, I mean, like, the 4K screens are the standard, and everyone's screaming about 4K. How much does a 4K TV go for right now still? Is it still like $6,000 or $8,000?
No, nowhere near. No, they're very cheap now.
They're cheap now?
Yeah.
4K?
Yeah.
Oh. But, like, what's cheap?
You can get a lower end one for like $800.
Oh, okay. So they're moving into the right range.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like the newest hotness anymore.
I don't have an incredible urge to replace mine. I've got a brand new 60-inch TV like that was fresh and brand new about a year ago.
And the thing is, a lot of programming isn't 4K yet. No. You know, like you can get some Blu-rays that are 4K. But the average thing you watch is merely HD, and it's not 4K yet. So I think when that jump is made, maybe more people start going up. But you know, other than that,
I don't think I'll be upgrading anytime soon.
I might, but like that's my TV. I'm not getting Xbox One. I already have an Xbox One that I barely play.
Yeah. I
play for the exclusives, which there hasn't been an exclusive that I wanted in a year.
Yeah.
And Scaleball got canceled, so I don't know what the next thing I'm going to play is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the whole Xbox thing, is that as we go down this list...
let's go down the list. Forza Motorsport 7 unveiled a sweet Porsche. No one cares.
No. So we didn't care about the Final Fantasy car, we don't care about Forzas.
No. Metro Exodus, that was a great way to start off the show.
Yeah.
That game looks great.
Yeah.
You actually put the fear into my head that might not be real gameplay. As I was watching it, I was like... I was like, maybe this isn't gameplay.
Yeah. So it felt very video. I mean, okay, so cover the good first. Super excited to see more Metro. You know, obviously is a very loved. Well, I guess it's a franchise. 3 games makes a franchise.
Yeah.
And the content of what they did show looked really great. I liked like the giant rats. I liked wrestling with the giant rats, and like the damaged mask and stuff. That's all back. Visually stunning.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely gorgeous looking.
Who knows what's going to come out or what it looks like when it comes out?
Yeah, exactly. But
this was enhanced by an Xbox One X. It probably wasn't even running on that. It was probably running on PC.
Yeah, but still, nevertheless, I mean, design wise, even and everything.
Sure, yeah,
looking great.
Great looking world.
I like stabbing it in the eye when it was like getting its head out the door and you had to like shove it back in and shit. Like that was fun. What we saw of the gameplay was not really much of just more of walking and then shooting a few things. Again, like I was saying, I hope some of the functionality is in there as part of the game where like if you're gonna fight something big that's too big to constantly shoot, if you take it over to a cliffside, it'll actually trip and maybe fall over.
The interesting part is this one's actually going to be the first like open world one.
Yeah.
The last ones had some openness to them, but they were linear shooters for the most part.
Yeah.
Like you could roam in certain areas and stuff, but this looks much more like it's taking a cue from Fallout.
Well, you can breathe outside,
and you can also breathe outside. Unless I'm not recalling correctly, but I'm pretty sure in all the segments in the last games, when you were on the surface, you needed to have a mask on for sure, and if you're running out of air, you need to find air supply to like re-get up your air.
Could be. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But the part that got me that was when I was looking at this is either someone was masterfully handling the game to make everything function the way it does, because like it had that natural sway back and forth where his body looked like it was real. Like I felt like I was in a human's first person point of view. The bow had weight and shifted, and so did his arms. And then when he got out, like every single look was so like orchestrated to get like a really good cinematic first person kind of like POV movie shot.
So I think it'll look like that. I think the movement will look like that, because they always did pay a lot of attention to detail in those games. The thing that really got me was going up next to the rock and some rocks falling down, and then when the beast was falling, I was like, they can fall off anything? I was like, and they'll like scramble like that on any edge. Like that seems. I'm no tech wizard, but like it seems like a lot of work to do to get that kind of thing to work.
That kind of technology exists, and we can make that kind of stuff happen. But when it comes to these large games, and there's so many scenarios where like maybe you're just like on a slight ledge to like a step down, and then suddenly he's there, and it suddenly reads that he's like the bear thinks, "Oh, I'm on a ledge."
Yeah,
over
and he's clipping through the ground.
Yeah, and he's just suddenly like clambering to try and get up some stairs, and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just step once, move past the bear."
Yeah. So that was a really cool way to start things off. I'm very excited about that game.
Yeah,
that's one of my top 10 games of the show.
Yeah,
basically.
No, it looks great. Definitely one of the top. It's one of the ones else people are talking about the most of.
Assassin's Creed Origins. This one was shown off at two different press conferences, Ubi's and Microsoft's.
Again,
big push.
As I was saying, part of the I borrowed your content, but it looked great. I mean, for an Assassin's Creed game, when we've seen enough Assassin's Creed, this one looked great.
That's what I was gonna say. I've seen a lot of Assassin's Creed games played, and this one looked the most impressive to me. Like it got me the most to be like, I could play that. I won't probably, but
well, let's give a pop class round of applause to Ubisoft for having a game that didn't crash. Yay! Every year they always crash with their Assassin's Creeds and shit.
Do they?
Yeah, last year they had a crash. We watched it happen live.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the game actually crashed. It stopped. The stage went black, and then it came back up, and we're like, and you could hear the guys going, oh, 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 oh.
I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't really remember any Assassin's Creed shit.
And the same thing happened the year before when the Assassin's Creed crashed.
Oh my god, no, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was tradition.
It's a tradition, so congratulations for not breaking your game.
Yeah, I thought they added like RPG elements seemed kind of cool, and there was a giant snake at the end of that one trailer, so that was...
Well, that was interesting. People are talking about that because Assassin's Creed's always been grounded in, as I quote, reality, despite the fact people can leap 20 feet in the air and off of a building and survive. But they've never had anything with human beings and bears and animals and shit, right? Like, there's been no real major supernatural components, except for the aliens in the first 3 games, but we'll ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
Or humans, whatever the fuck they were. But like now they're just apparently just walking away with that and being like, the only place Assassin's Creed can go from here is giant snakes and maybe fighting raw.
Yeah,
like,
which is cool.
Which is like, yeah, go for it. Let's Prince of Persia this shit up.
The next thing they announced, which was actually a big get for them with this game's popularity right now, Player Unknown Battlegrounds, also known as PUBG. You might see that on fucking YouTube a lot. People say playing PUBG.
No.
PUBG playing? Didn't know what it was for the longest time.
I'd probably have seen it, but ignored it.
Player Unknown Battlegrounds. I've never watched a gameplay footage of it aside from this trailer. It has no interest to me. I just know it's very popular. They got it exclusively. Great. Very cool. Good for them. Next up is Deep Rock Galactic, which was a little like weird indie-looking game. Very
a very odd spot to place it too, because like all the games as I go down are like Forza Motorsports, where we dump all graphics technology. Metro Exodus, the new first-person shooter where we make look all 4K and fancy. Assassin's Creed, one of the highest rendered games in the world, and PlayerUnknown Battleground. I mean, yeah, it's not
great.
No.
Okay.
But Deep Rock Galactic suddenly just drops off in the middle of that, like it's a game that's a contender to the rest. And I was sitting there, I'm like, really?
Yeah, that was a weird one to put there. Yeah. Didn't look interesting to me either.
No.
State of Decay 2. I know a lot of people love State of Decay. Mm-hmm. This didn't do anything for me.
Didn't make me excited.
No. I could see how that game would be fun, though. Like, I get the appeal behind it.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
No.
The Darwin Project looked fucking awful. Just god-awful. If you haven't seen this, it looks like a new hero shooter in the vein of Overwatch, but, like, terrible.
Terrible.
If Overwatch was third-person and terrible, this is what it looked like.
I don't even know why that was, like... Even on Steam, people would just be like putting the red light on that thing. Like, what the hell? When I saw it, I was so baffled. And they kept on trying to show all this like.
And they did this really stupid like a guy announcing on the stage like as if it was like a real good game.
Yeah, like doing it like it's an esports thing. It's like, oh, he's coming around, he's gonna get him in the back with his thingy, and then like the thingy was like a little white particle effect you couldn't even see, and then that was
I don't even remember.
And I'm like, what did he do? And he's like, oh, he got off the curve shot, and I'm like, he was standing in front of him, like. Is that a hard thing to do? Is standing in front of someone and shooting them when they're directly in your reticle a hard thing?
Yeah, it looked just awful. Weird that they even dedicated that much time to it. Yeah. Did someone owe like someone else's cousin like a favor or something? Yeah, like fucking Jesus. Terrible. Yeah, Darwin Project.
Or he's currently holding like the Xbox president's daughter hostage. He's like, you're gonna play my game.
Minecraft had a way too long unnecessary segment, but I understand they bought the fucking franchise for $1 billion, so they need to show it.
They deserve their spot.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a fuck ton of people who play Minecraft, and it's in 4K now, so your cubes look more cubey. Yeah, cubes look great. You can play it. It's cross-play with the Switch and PC. Yeah. Not with PS4. Sony just wants to stay out of that, apparently. That's fine. Next is a showstopper. Dragon Ball Z Fighters. No, Dragon Ball Fighters Z. I don't know how you say it. Dragon Ball Fighters Z or Fighters? Fighters Z. I don't even think it's Fighters. I think the Z replaces the S on the logo. I could be wrong. Anyways, the game looks fucking awesome. We talked about it at the end of last week's podcast. But it's by Arc System Works, the guys who did Guilty Gear Zerd, known for making beautiful fucking fighting games. Yeah. Very elaborate systems, and it seems like they're taking one step back with those like way too complicated fighting systems, and they're making this one a little simpler because they know they're hitting a broader audience with a franchise like Dragon Ball. Yeah, no one's going to be picking up a Guilty Gear system and being like, I totally understand what a continuum shift is. Yeah, I love Gohan. Like, no. People who love Gohan can go play this game and still have a good time. Yeah. It does have a like, so it's a 3-button fighter. It's light, medium, heavy, and you have it's 3v3, so you can call on 2 assists at the same time, 1 assist, and when they call out, they get damaged as per usual. There's stage destruction, which is sick. Like when Frieza does his giant death ball, like Namek will all of a sudden, like after it launches, it doesn't just look like it's still the Namek village. It's like fucking lava and fire, and he's just ruined everything. Very cool. Yeah. There's a mechanic also that's a Dragon Ball Z specific mechanic. Like, you know when they do that thing where they like teleport behind the other one? Or like they hit them and they follow them and they get them back and they do that? They have a dedicated button to doing that. So if you do start setting up someone for a combo and they go flying, you can spend some meter to like catch up to them very quick and try to do that. Cool. Well, a couple of the other systems that I thought I saw, which might have just been combos and special moves and things I would want to see, is I always loved in games when they had a collision thing where like, they were like trading blocking blows. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun, and that's always a huge part of every single freaking Dragon Ball Z episode. It's like, about 5 minutes of them doing the high speed. This is like forever. So I think the one you're thinking of is in between matches. I'm not sure if you're actually going to come to blows with a fist. And then the other one on top of that is also beams. Yeah, and fighting beams back and forth, because like that's beam struggle. The beam struggle is real in Dragon Ball Z, and it should be real inside the game. And there were a couple of Dragon Ball Z games that actually did that, but I remember how annoying it was sometimes, where you'd be having like this really great fight, and then suddenly you just get locked into one of those fucking things, and you finish it, and you're like, all right, down the front, back, and I'm going to do the whirlwind kick, and you do another fireball, but then the other guy does a fireball, and you're back into beam struggle. Yep. And it's like 3 or 4 rounds of beam struggle, and you win the fight, and you're like, fuck, I didn't even punch him, I just beam struggled. For how many Dragon Ball Z games there are, it's surprising how few, like, actually good ones there are. Yeah. Like there's very few actually good ones. The Budokai ones were good, right? Yeah, some of the Budokai ones were good.
So you know, they're all decent. There were some that were just better than others. I thought.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple that were just like, this is the exact same thing as the last game, but we added Frieza's minion. Like, great, cool. Everyone wanted that character.
Yeah, you've run through the entire list. Now you're just like putting in the squirrel he blew up that one time.
Anyways, Dragon Ball FighterZ is gonna be great. I'm gonna make Mike play it when it comes out. That's my most anticipated fighting game because I didn't think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looked great at all. We'll get to that though.
Yeah.
Black Desert. I don't even remember what that is.
It's a JRPG.
MMORPG.
MMORPG. Yeah.
Great, cool. Is it the really anime looking one?
Super anime. Well, not super anime. Like not like big. It looks like Final Fantasy 15, but or not 15. 14. The online, but like more Japanese.
Sure. Cool. The Last Night. Very cool 2D pixelated cyberpunk Blade Runner looking game.
It's so pretty.
Really, really pretty. Really,
so pretty.
Really knocking out of the park at Microsoft Conference. That was the one that caught everybody's eye. And then shortly afterwards, everyone found out the creator was part of Gamergate, and and all this shit, and all this shit went down.
Yeah.
And me and Mike actually have a talk about separating creator from the creation. So
which can be a total thing. I mean, even in that talk, we talk about the guy who made Ren and Stimpy and him being an awful person, but nevertheless, Ren and Stimpy was a great show. In this context, it's the same thing. Like the art of pixel art is just starting to blossom. Really, at the end of the day, like people are really starting to explore it and how far they can take it. And this is the next step. This is where you can go with pixel art to make a game that looks almost as beautiful as any high-end definition game that you can get out there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know what the game was about. I just knew that it looked awesome, and every single cell that popped up on the screen made me want to go play it. And I wanted to see more and more shots. That's all I wanted.
Unfortunately, the scuttlebutt is I heard this from, what did I watch? Kind of Funny Games, Andy Cortez, their last E3 day impressions. He said, when you go for the closed behind doors demo, it's just him showing how they made that, like, trailer, basically. Yeah. And he said it was very impressive and very cool and a lot of art stuff going on, but, like, it seemed like the game was very, very far off from being done.
Yeah, well, that's sad. But that's not the first time I've ever heard that come out of an E3, where they show off a trailer and then someone's like, oh, it turns out they haven't even started. And you're like, okay, that's fine, but they did it to show.
Why have a behind closed door thing then, though? Like, I don't think Anthem did. Like, it was just like, we're going to rock your fucking dick off. Peace out. We'll see you next year. You know, like it was that, you know?
But this guy has something to prove. No one knows what the fuck Last Night is or what a studio is.
Yeah, I guess. I was just, I was kind of put off by hearing that, like, he just talked about, like, how the trailer was.
No, I would be pissed off as an attendee to do that. But I've been to enough conferences where I've been in there and I'm like, they're going to talk about the creation of something and we're going to get some gameplay. And then, like, you go in and all they do is they show you not even good concept art, just, like, all the shit that got tossed out because they're not allowed to show it. So, like, they're only allowed to show the stuff that got tossed out. And they're like, there's a really good version of this, but this is the shitty version. And I'm like, why did you have a talk if you can't even show off your work? Like, I've been there before, but it's just for them to get more hype. So I understand why it happened. It just sucks.
Totally. The Artful Escape, which was a cool 2D indie-looking game.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, immediately in my head, I was like, hipster aesthetics, you know? Yeah. It was that very, like, graphic designy, round corners. Mm-hmm. The guy's going, like, on a music acid trip. Like, it, you know, very hipstery game, but it looks really very nice.
But it is, at the end of the day, excuse me, what got me about it that was not exciting is it just looked like another, like, 2D side-scrolling platformer game. Like, I didn't see a mechanic that really shot me out of the sky.
No, I'm not even sure what it's going to be. If it's going to be a rhythm-based thing or a platform or whatever.
If there's some mechanic behind controlling it that's really quite incredible, but it'd have to be pretty special, because at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, it's you jump and you have a guitar and you jump.
Code Vein is anime Dark Souls, as they also announced. I'm keeping my eye on that one, because I think it could be cool. Right now, it looks a little rough.
It looks very rough.
But I think it has potential. Yeah. This is coming from Bandai Namco, who actually publishes the Dark Souls games. Yeah. So I wonder if, like, the Dark Souls guys are like, yeah, we're not doing any Dark Souls anymore, and they're like, fuck.
Yeah. So they just ran into some random kid's anime stash and just, like, stole all of his
Pick this main character and a little bit of this main character, and there you go.
Then we're just gonna make an anime Dark Souls, because that'll work. Anime Dark Souls.
People love it. Ship it out. Speaking of ships, Sea of Thieves had its, like, third demo in a year demo in a row. I'm personally not excited for this at all. I know some people are. They think it looks really cool, but...
The only thing I liked about the demo was him shooting himself in a cannon at the other guy.
My favorite thing about Sea of Thieves was he ate a banana whole, as you do in games. You just shove food into your face. Yeah. And someone from Polygon just ate a banana whole like that afterwards on camera. I really enjoyed that
swallowed
video.
it like a cock, just.
Not the whole thing. No. So he took half of it. He did half. He did a good job deep throating, and he went down, and there's a huge this big crunch, just bit right through the peel of the banana too, and he's like, whoa. It was really funny. I recommend you go watch it. Just type in Polygon banana, and then Sea of Thieves saw that on Twitter and actually quoted it in a tweet and said we see your banana and raise you this, and they did a gif where the pirate's eating a coconut hole. And everyone was like, why are they trying to kill him? That was the best thing Sea of Thieves did all E3, I thought.
Yeah.
Tacoma,
I would have preferred if he swallowed it like just the whole thing, that
would have been impressive, but he also probably would have died. There's no way he could have done that unless he was an anaconda and unhinged his jaw. Next up was Tacoma from Fulbright, the guys behind Gone Home.
Yeah.
It looks like Gone Home in space.
Mm-hmm.
Looks kind of cool. I'm not sure. You played that last space walk simulator one. What do you think about this?
Drift?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen Tacoma before. This isn't the first time it's been shown.
No.
We actually talked about it on one of our indie podcasts. Tacoma.
Did we?
Yeah.
That wasn't a drift?
No, we talked about Adrift and Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's actually on that very podcast. But, I mean, the thing about Tacoma is I saw some early gameplay of it, and it looks very dry, even in comparison to Adrift, which was really dry. Adrift just had a really awesome zero gravity mechanic in it that was actually a lot of fun for a while, and then it just was like, all right, I'm going to fucking finish this thing. But Tacoma is just you go up to stuff, and then it opens up little menus, and then you read a story, and then you got to find another thing and read a story. There's just a lot of that, and that's the primary component of it. And I'm like, all right, if you're going to do that kind of game which is only story-driven, then go Detroit Become Human and give me some interaction while you tell me a story. Vocals or something. Don't just keep opening menus and be like, read this. Destiny tried that and failed, so...
Good point. Next up was Super Lucky's Tale, which is actually a Oculus game. If you didn't see this, on the stage, what came up was a bright red fox tail, a little squirrel tail thing. And I was super stoked that I was going to get a new Conker game. And I was like, I can finally play my Xbox again. Nope, it's called Super Lucky's Tale. It's a friendly squirrel. It's an Oculus VR game. But it's not... Xbox One X, they have not announced any VR support for it. Which is also weird. Because last year they were all that HoloLens shit and there's going to be VR. This year, nothing. So this is just a game for Oculus just taken out and put on a regular system. So pay that no mind.
I think I went at this point and was like, all right, time for a drink.
That's about right. Cuphead got a release date, September 29th.
Yeah, we talked about this game before. It's actually being produced in Canada, or mostly in Canada, and a couple of people from Ottawa. Hey! But awesome looking game. Looks like they finally decided to stop adding features.
Yes.
Because they did keep adding new features. But it has a full release date. Does that have the release? Do we have the release date?
Yeah, I already said it. You just don't pay attention.
No, I don't listen to you. I just
September 29th. Once again, for Mike and the audience, that's September 29th.
Yeah.
2017.
Now let's see if they hold to September 29th.
Yeah, let's see. Because let's see.
Let's see.
So I'm excited about that. Crackdown 3 actually had a really cool intro with Terry Crews yelling at the screen. Everyone loves Terry Crews. And then they showed the most underwhelming trailer of just people running and gunning and it just was nothing.
There's just more Crackdown.
I don't know who's still excited about Crackdown. That's the thing. I just don't know.
I didn't know. I've never met a Crackdown fan.
Yeah, exactly right. I've heard of them. They're rare and elusive. But yeah, I honestly just would, if that was my trailer, I honestly probably just would have played up the Terry Crews shit more and barely showed the game.
I would have loved it to come like, who's a Crackdown fan? And the entire giant sea of people, there's just one person who jumps up. Hooray! Me!
So that's coming out November 7th, along with the Xbox One X. That's launching right alongside it. Then we got about a montage of indie games. That'll be a podcast for another day.
Yeah.
Then we got Ashen, which is a stylized game. Looks like it plays a bit like Dark Souls, and we don't know much more about it. It's not going to be a randomized dungeon crawler, but it looks like a dungeon crawler.
It looks like a dungeon crawler. It looks like, because they keep showing you getting killed by things as you go along. These two guys keep walking, and then it was like watching Spy versus Spy as one of them kept dropping from something.
I think it has a very, very big Dark Souls influence. I really like the graphical style of that. I like the soft polygons, the soft polygonal thing.
Is a clear intentional thing, which was very neat. They have no faces. Everything has no texture. It's just color. And it's just all intentionally smoothed out.
Yeah, I really like that look.
Yeah, I thought it looked really neat, like visually. I just wasn't interested in the game because all I saw was what looked like Robin Hood versus the orcs.
There wasn't one orc in there.
Or whatever. The bad things.
There was a cool looking monster in there.
Yes.
I don't even know what I would call it.
Yes.
An orc.
The monsters. Robin Hood versus monsters then.
I don't know where you're getting Robin Hood from. No one had a bow and arrow. No one was given to the poor. No one was a fox man.
Fox man?
Yeah, from the Disney movie.
Oh, fuck. You invalidate your own arguments for me.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
All my points still stand.
Yeah, it was like saying Robin Hood.
He wasn't a fox man. He wasn't given to the poor.
No.
Like these are all things Robin Hood did at one time or another.
But he was never a fox.
That game had nothing.
Yes, he's not a fox man.
He is a fox man.
In a Disney movie, which doesn't count as
in Disney's Robin Hood.
Oh.
In Disney's Robin Hood, he was a fox man.
All right.
And he had that slutty fox lady and that big bear.
You've already lost.
What? So Life is Strange Before the Storm. This is a prequel to Life is Strange, but they're also working on a sequel to Life is Strange separately. But the sequel to Life is Strange is actually being done by the first studio who did the first game. This one is being done by a different studio, the prequel. I don't know who's writing it. I don't know who's involved. It's just very weird that that's happening like that.
It is very weird. I've even seen some fan reaction. There was like a tweet from the original voice actor who played the main girl, and everyone asked why she wasn't playing the character or voicing the character. And they're all like freaking out because, like the agreement is that she voices this character as part of this company, not as part of another one. So she can't actually come in.
No, it's the writer's strike.
It's the writer's strike?
Actor's strike, sorry.
Well, that was a guild strike thing?
Yeah, it's the Voice Actors Guild strike. SAG? Is that Screen Actors Guild?
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever the voice acting one for the video game industry is, it's still happening and has been for a while. That's why she can't do it. If things were in development before this strike started, they can still work on it, but they can't work on any new projects. Yeah. So, whatever. I'm not a huge Life is Strange fan, but I only played like part of the first episode. It was just the PS Plus game of the month. I think it still is, so you have PS Plus, go check it out. Middle-earth Shadow of War. I thought actually looked good, but I'm not going to play this one. I played the first one, enjoyed it.
Never played them.
There's too much stuff coming out that I'm not going to... I don't want to say waste my time. It looks fine. I liked the big orc guy. He seemed like Shrek a little bit. He was like, "Oi, companion." Great. Cool. Yeah. Get Mike Myers to voice him. Let's talk. Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Very cool announcement.
Yeah. Then it was so pretty. I mean, they've gone so much further with the visuals now. And they took it to a next step, and it looks just stunning.
Yes, it does.
I wasn't expecting to see more Ori at any time soon. I thought they were just like, there was our great title, here's a new character. But they actually took it back.
Yeah, I didn't know how well that game did. I didn't know if it merited a sequel or not, so that's cool to learn.
It was beautiful looking, and I'm looking forward to trying this one out again. At the very least, just to look at everything.
But the big boy, really, to cap off Microsoft's press conference, was a little game called Anthem.
Yeah. So this was initially revealed at BioWare, so we were talking about this in our plethora of Mass Effect podcasts. We have a lot of them. Was talking about BioWare and the transition from Mass Effect into their new IP, which was officially revealed as Anthem, which is a sci-fi open world, I guess probably RPG. I'd have to say action RPG. I'd have to say for sure, which is very much along the lines of Destiny. It's pretty much the same thing, except for this is full third person. Destiny's first person.
But yeah, it looks like a game where you're going to shoot stuff, get loot, explore the world.
But, I mean, if anyone had any questions about why Mass Effect Andromeda sucked, it was because everyone was apparently working on Anthem.
Yeah, everybody.
Like, everybody. Because, they're like, what's wrong with BioWare and their facial expressions? And then they just open this trailer with this opening scene where someone comes up and has more facial expressions and more emotion in a face than I've seen in a video game, ever. And it right away starts off saying that this is all 100% in-game footage, no cinematics whatsoever, which I will tend to believe. I mean, I don't know if it'll be at that fidelity or prettiness. It didn't say any ultra shit on it, did it?
I think everything was quote-unquote enhanced by Xbox One X.
I don't know if that even means anything, actually, though, in a video, but whatever. Maybe it has with frame rate, but still, I've got a PS4 Pro. It should run about the same. But so the game starts off in the trailer, and you go through, and they talk to you about being a freelancer, part of this, I guess, another walled-off city at a dystopian future world of humanity, so Destiny. And then you get into your suit, and either the suit you get into is a Ranger suit, and your friend gets into a Titan one, and they don't actually have the worst back and forth battle I've ever heard.
Oh, they're just the in-game player dialogue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's usually a lot worse than that.
They're trying
That
to
was
fake
very
it. Yeah.
tame that whole time.
Yeah.
The worst part was like, I got Jera's Wrath, and you're like, cool.
Yeah.
But usually it's like way worse. So like, I pwned you, noob. Like, it's like gamer slang from 2007 that no one's ever used. And you're like, oh, stop.
Oh, shoot me. Yeah, so you get in, and the best part, you get out and you off the launch pad, and your friend joins you in an awesome Superman landing, and then this was like the best reveal in all of E3. It was literally just this moment, because everyone wrote about it the moment after it happened. Like, when she jumps off the cliff, and it was pretty epic.
Yeah,
I was expecting them to get like on a ship that would land them and then they'd step off or some shit, and instead she's just like, whee!
Just, I am Iron Man. Like, just fucking magically soars like a bird or Iron Man. And just into the depths of the wilderness.
And I love how it was like a skydiver, because skydivers with the flight suits.
Yeah,
like it was doing like that. Flies down, and you're automatically entranced, and everything's wonderful. But the world looks gorgeous. The animal life was amazing. All of it was just moving and organic and alive. And then you land, and you actually even see like a whole sequence of one giant animal monster thing eating other ones and smashing them into the side of rocks. And you decide not to fight it, and you jump to the side and you take off again. And then the next most amazing, I thought that was like, oh my god, this game's looking really great.
Mm-hmm.
The next most amazing moment happens where suddenly you start getting fired at, like as if someone's shooting like anti-air bullets at you, and they're zipping past you in that fashion. I'm like, that's fucking great. But they're probably just going to land in the middle and just like fire guns off. No, she dives down into the fucking water.
Like a fish.
Yeah.
And seamlessly. Nothing changed. You just straight up go into the water, like dive into the water. You're still, looks like you're controlling like Iron Man, just slower because it's water.
Because like at that very moment she goes, I'm going low, and I'm like, okay, so you're just going to fly closer to sploosh. And I'm like, what?
Never seen anything like that in the game before. And it seems like such a small thing, like you said, but like it is actually very impressive.
Yeah. And even the bullets start hitting the water, and they're trailing in like bullets when they hit the water. And she pops up and she kills the little things, and apparently there's some abilities, and the guy has like a smash attack and shit like that, and that's all well and cool, and they killed little whatever they are.
Whatever, goblins.
And they take off, more beautiful scenery. Then they show off some of the traversal mechanics, so like she's got rockets on her back that help her run faster for like a jet-propelled run, which was awesome. All the suits have inverted legs, which is such a great concept art idea. Like, human legs can only work in a particular fashion, but the fastest legs on the planet for any animal are the inverted legs for like cheetahs and dogs and antelopes and shit, right? So they're like, we'll build this extra height on our suits so that you get these inverted legs so you can run twice as fast, and then stick engines on it so you can go faster. And even the movement between the two of them, like the big guy's movement was like luggy and slow and heavy, and he had these big giant boosters that would shoot him high up in the air for big jumps, but you looked a little bit more agile, even though you had the well-rounded class, right?
Yeah. I think I was the all-rounder,
Yeah. And all of this was looking stunning, and I'm totally entranced. Like on the next part of it, they have you pulling up to your first kind of like event, I guess, or quest or something. I guess
it seemed like just happening in the environment.
Yeah.
I think
they said it was part of a quest.
Oh, maybe it was.
And I saw some UI stuff pop up for that.
The environment kind of crumbles a little bit, and there's a bunch of goblins again that come out. Yeah,
scrappers, I think they called it, or something. And they had a heavy. So that's when your friend pops up, and then I love this part. And then again, it's another small thing. And
this is Mike's wet dream, people.
Yes.
Like, this is. I've had 2 years of him ranting in my ear about like what Destiny could have been, and it's in this game.
Yeah,
this is what he wanted.
They listened,
especially the next part coming up.
Yeah, so that's the thing. All these little things just give you that little taste of making sure the classes are different, the environment feels different, the story's being told through small visual storytelling.
It's good world building.
Yeah. So like the mortar, he equipped a mortar. It's an actual thing on the back of the suit, and then when he fires it, it's not just an attachment at the end of the gun or a new gun. It's an actual mortar,
or a missile doesn't just come out of the model.
Yeah, like just coming out of his mouth, like ba-doo! He fires an awesome mortar that actually causes damage to the earth and the ground. Like, it leaves a crater that wiped out everything around it, which is awesome. So your weapons cause, I guess, somewhat permanent to semi-permanent damage. And then the girl does her attack, I guess, whatever that might be called, with the little Iron Man
multi-rocket thing.
Which is an Iron Man thing. And they wipe it all out, and she picks up a weapon. Everything's fine and dandy. And then they have, they call it a Shaper Storm?
Yeah, Shape Storm? That was it?
Shaper's Storm?
Yeah, something.
There's some sort of dynamic event thing that happens with this amazing storm going off where it's blowing trees across and branches and animals are running away from it in fear. Like, someone went and stood in a tornado and started drawing. I was like, this is what it looks like! This isn't funny! Yeah, sentence quotes. And then at that moment was my big moment where some other classes finally popped in and they got into the, quote-unquote mage class, I guess, or caster class of some kind. And when they showed up, each person showed up with their own little animation, and the sorcerer class pops in, and it teleports in. Instead of landing with jets, it teleports in. Because of course it would. This is the mystical character. Mm-hmm. This one should have, like, teleporty gear and bolts and float and shit. Mm-hmm. Like, this clearly defines this class.
It communicates the class through the visuals, and it's not just... It's a warlock.
Yeah.
Because we say so.
Because it has a cloak.
Yeah.
It's a warlock. Look at its long hood. Like, it's clearly something. And they take off towards the goal, and he actually floats, and they all have different run animations based on their own character classes, and they dive into the big storm. I saw this and was just like, Destiny must be shitting itself.
Yeah.
It must be just like, what the fuck do we do? Destiny 2 is not Destiny 2. We're all fucked. Like,
not to skip ahead too far, but yeah, like, especially after seeing Anthem, when you looked at Destiny 2's trailer in the Sony conference, it looks so underwhelming in comparison.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was beautiful looking, beautiful mechanics, wonderful animation, all
stuff we've never seen before.
Stuff we've never seen before. Everything I saw was just like, I can't wait to go do that myself. And I'm super excited to find all the differences between these things. Like, I didn't get to see all the differences between all the classes, but I knew there were different classes. I want to see what they all are.
And unfortunately, there was no hands-on at the show. They were just like, they rocked your world and then pieced out one night stand style. But did it say early 2018?
Late.
Or did it say 2018?
It said late.
Late 2018, okay. Yeah. So, do you think we see anything more out of this game this year?
We might see something at PSX. I think we might see some more at PSX.
I don't think so at PSX. I don't think Destiny will like that.
I don't think they care. But
I do. I definitely do. Do you think it's one of those things? Do you think Sony would have Metal Gear Survive on its stage, and they also have Kojima? You know, like I think they have more respect than that to their business.
Yeah, but
partners.
isn't Destiny 2 out before PSX?
Oh yeah, it is, but I think there's still an ongoing marketing deal with them that the exclusive strikes, and there's going to be content for years to come.
I don't think that's going to permanently block Sony from doing any sort of advertising for Anthem. I don't think so.
I do. I think we're going to see a lot of like on the Xbox One. I think so.
I don't. But still, like we won't see much if we see anything. We will definitely see it next year in its full force. I don't want to like give out the rumor because I don't remember all the details of the rumor, where the source was from, but I remember someone put out something very credible that said that Anthem would be released in the fall because there was some sort of leak for some sort of store or book information. So I think it's actually very much slated for that because they've been developing this for a while, haven't they? I
think it was like 5 years or something.
Yeah,
that's been the rumor.
Yeah. So I mean, while they've got their last little, things to check mark off, I think this game is really close to ready. I think BioWare is just pulling this weird advertising shit again. You know, like Andromeda with its 2 months beforehand. They're like, it's actually going to happen now.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that game, fucking awesome looking. Mike's game of the show. One of my games of the show.
It was my top game of the show, yeah.
Yeah, really, really impressive looking. Yeah, and that's Xbox. Good job, guys.
Good job, Xbox.
You did it.
You Xboxed.
You did.
You Xbox X'd.
So that was it for Microsoft. Good showing. Good on you. Cool stage. I like the stage a lot. The way the edges lit up and stuff. Really like that. Next up was Bethesda. Really disappointing this year, Bethesda. I think that fuck. So I was expecting a lot. Also, okay. I'll put that out there. I was expecting a lot.
All right.
But they had this whole Bethesda Land motif that they were going with. Throughout the video they showed, they built a whole fucking stage at E3. Not stage, a literal, like, Adventureland thing with different props and whatnot to go through Bethesda Land. I really thought they were going to drop something huge this year for having such a presence, right? You would think. You showed just garbage for, like, 40 minutes, and then the last two games were sick. So you left me very conflicted. I was like, I was like, this is a 0, and then it shot up to a 6.
I have to say that the presenters were particularly low energy, but I felt like Bethesda just didn't give a fuck. They were just like, okay, stuff you want. Everyone wants all the shit that was in the first 40 minutes, except for it wasn't exciting.
Okay, so here it was, Doom VFR. That's a Doom game in VR. It's actually a new game. It's not just Doom in VR. It's a brand new game. But I don't care. I don't want to play Doom in VR.
Some people do.
Fallout 4 VR. Some people probably do actually want to play that.
Yeah.
No one wants to play Doom VFR. Fallout 4 VR, cool, neat.
Yeah.
Creation Club, that they're doing paid mods again. I think no one likes that. I don't care. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider is an expansion for Dishonored 2. I'm actually surprised they're doing that because it didn't sell.
It didn't sell
particularly great as far as I've heard.
But Dishonored fans are so hardcore. I have a student who is a huge Dishonored fan. I actually don't really like the concept art from Dishonored very much. A lot of it seems kind of hackneyed and repetitive to me.
Harsh.
Well, it's personal opinion. That doesn't mean it's bad. Just because I say it's bad doesn't mean that everyone else should think so. But it's my opinion, right? And I'm saying, like, going through good art, and someone's like, what about Dishonored art? I'm like, well, I personally don't really enjoy it very much. I find it kind of repetitious. And he was, like, so offended. And I could just see, like, the permanent, like, anger, like, everything you say from this point on is nothing to me.
It was like he just pledged allegiance to like, Trump.
Yeah. It's like Satan popped up, and I just signed the contract right there, and then all the students caught on fire. It was just like, I don't know. So when I say, like, Dishonored fans are hardcore, they're pretty hardcore.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the base is big enough that, like, they can do an expansion for that, and they know it'll sell well enough. Because it's not a full-fledged game, but it's an expansion. Mm-hmm. Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Sick as fuck. You got a wheelchair level. You get to use... You're dual wielding, but it's actually different weapons this time. Sick as hell. Looking forward to that. Characters look great. Some returning characters from the last game. Looking forward to see where they take this one. Mecha Hitler is confirmed not in this game. So, probably the third one. Because the guy said, like, once you go to Mecha Hitler, there's no way... You can't go up from there.
Yeah, there's no super boss after that.
Yeah, so he said, like, and we're planning this to be a trilogy, so,
Probably no Mecha Hitler.
Yeah, probably no Mecha Hitler in this one. Still, looks great.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein: The New Order plays like a dream.
I like the trailer too. I like the trailer a lot. I like the introduction to it. I liked the TV spot kind of stuff, and it felt very Fallouty at times, but it was still really cool. And then the trailer itself was really interesting to watch, although very disjointed.
Sorry, what felt Fallouty to you? Was it just the music at the beginning?
No.
And that door?
No.
What was Fallouty?
It was the TV stuff in the beginning.
Oh,
like the game show and the film grain and
the Americana stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, the Fallout can't claim like the 1940s to itself. Like, that's
yeah. No.
But or is that 50s? Anyways, doesn't matter. But the trailer itself, like the beginning of it was oddly cut, very oddly cut.
I think a lot of trailers this year were oddly cut. This one in particular, it didn't seem to have like a narrative like flow to it. Yeah. And then you said like maybe they're introducing the characters, but like even if that was their their intent, it didn't come off right. Like that Nazi like sits down with you in the thing and asks for your papers, and then it cuts to like a CG cutscene on the boat, like with it raining and stuff, and then it goes back to something else, and there's no arc to that trailer, you know what I mean? There's no like, it didn't feel like all part of the same trailer.
I 100% agree, but they could have just literally just reordered those scenes into different orders, and it would have picked up more carefully. It was just
altogether that thing was like 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
They could have cut out like a good 3, I think, and I would have been just as stoked.
Yeah. The only thing that got me that I don't like about what I saw in that trailer is the shooting looked way more rail-like than what the visuals and the high fidelity graphics they had going on in the shots were. Because, like, his 2 hands were literally just like as if they were robot arms that were just extended in front of him, and they didn't even flail or move or anything. And then the other part of that, which is, this is nitpicky game artist things, I'm sure, and it's totally fine, but in most games nowadays, when they start going into the full POV mode, where, like, you're seeing them fall over and they're holding themselves up and shit, you might see a spot of shoulder or your leg or something like that. This game was hardcore focus, and this isn't the whole game, but whatever I saw, anytime they did like anything like that, was just 2 arms coming out of nowhere and coming through. Like, you didn't, like, when he was climbing up that pipe, put your arm in front of your head, everyone, right now, and look at your peripherals. You would see your shoulder, you would see everything, and instead I only saw up to my elbow. So his arms are either really short or his eyeballs stick about a good foot out.
I mean, I'm sure he has no character model. It's probably a camera with like a floating
arm.
Like, not even a full arm. what's this part? Up to the elbow. Like, maybe up to the elbow.
Yeah, probably, but I find that a little bit lazy, especially for a game that has so much interactivity. Because he's got stuff where he's like fighting a crocodile that's bitten on his leg, which looks awesome, or he's in a wheelchair or some shit, right? It just felt like very much the invisible human body thing. That's old school. I want to be able to see a little bit of myself to give myself a good immersion in the POV.
I don't give a fuck. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, for an acid trip level, where I get to take acid and play through a level shooting Nazis. That sounds dope. You don't think that sounds like one of the best things you could possibly do with a video game?
You just disregarded my view, so I'm disregarding yours.
Oh, but I don't give a shit about that stuff. I don't give a shit that his arm looks weird for like a quarter of a second.
Well, I care about the rail
when he's doing a thing. I'm just saying I don't give a shit. I'm not dismissing you. Yeah. That sort of stuff's important to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it is important to you.
You just skipped it. You were just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that shit.
Well, I don't. I don't like it all. It doesn't bother me. Okay, I'll word it a little better. That's a nice view you have, Mike. I'm not sure that I could give a shit about that view. Jokes. Okay, next up, Evil Within 2. The only other good thing in this fucking conference. And we actually have a bunch of details on this. I'm not going to read them all because there's a huge list. Jesus Christ. Okay, Evil Within 2. It's been development since like the month after the first game launched, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That it got greenlit that early, because how would you know for sales-wise? What if it sold like 500,000 copies and they're like, it's on the track to success, and then everyone was like, oh, it's actually awful, and then like it just falls off,
Well, I mean, there's lots like they could have been just like, all right, we're going to be making a series, so let's cue this now.
Yeah, maybe.
And then do like the first round of pre-production of just some art and some script and some ideas, and then like by the time it's 6 months in and the sales figures are in, they're like, all right, we can keep going.
Mikami is the executive producer and not director. He was the director of the first one. But his hands are all over it. He's still heavily involved in the sequel's development. It's his studio, and he wants to be involved. Mikami, he was the dude who's involved in all the old Resident Evil games, which is cool. Sebastian's life has fallen to crap since the original game. Apparently, outside of just no one believing him, he's also become an alcoholic. If I went through what he went through in the first game, I too would become an alcoholic.
Well, I'm trying to always remember. It was something about like a dream machine or something that was like merging everyone's minds together.
I don't want spoilers, but you're close. Yeah.
It's just I don't get how that made monsters, but anyways, fine. All
right. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay.
The Evil Within 1 story is very much like, it's a little bit like, you gotta take a leap with it. It takes a leap and you gotta be like, okay, I'm there with you, I guess.
Yeah.
You really gotta like, the story wasn't particularly great.
But that's what the part of this trailer that kind of got me was like, this one's far more horrific and more monsterish, and like we were saying, Silent Hill, where like they're really going into the disturbing imagery, like farther than they did, and like that was odd to me when I first started seeing it, and I was just like, I remember sort of what the story was. Why are things going Silent Hill-y? Like, what would be... And I guess maybe there's a story component that'll explain it in this game, but currently in my mind I was just like, what would transition from ooky monsters to, like, thing that has, like, 5 vaginas that have mouths that swallow you whole and spit acid?
We'll talk after, because I don't want to do any spoilers on the
podcast.
No,
but I'm just making my point, and anyone out there can put together if they can figure it out.
I think a big theme of this game is going to be, like, being watched, because there was the whole, like, it zoomed into his eye, and his eyelid was his pupil was the aperture of a camera.
One of the monsters had a camera head.
There's literally a monster that's a camera head. Not too subtle. And there was a giant eye over the Institute, like that big glowing blue eye. So I think the theme of like being watched is going to be a big thing in this.
Probably.
The sequel's aiming for a much stronger narrative with much stronger characters this time around. A much more personal story. As you can see in the trailer, he's after his daughter who turns into flame, turns into goo, whatever. All that shit. Confirmed the game has multiple antagonist characters this time around. Stefano is one such antagonist. He's the guy in the trailer who stabs the soldier and rose petals come out of his body. That's a very Japanese thing to do. I feel like, rose petals come out.
That's very samurai.
It'd be like the end of an anime, credits.
And then you hear that sound. Whoa!
And then a gong. Mentions the game is grotesque at times, but it's not made to be like Saw or torture porn. Some people do die in grotesque ways, but one thing the sequel is aiming for is deeper meaning into things and what things represent and symbolize. Some of that manifests in morbid ways, but there's more to it than that. It's not a continuous stream of grotesque imagery. It's not supposed to be a blood sport. And I don't really, the first one was gory, but I don't really feel like it reveled in the gore. It wasn't doing like a big close-up as your fucking neck got chopped off or anything.
But that did in this one. They do a big close-up of a guy getting his neck chopped.
Do they?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer 4 times. I don't even remember that. The imagery that stands out most to me is like the crows in the white goop and like
the white goop stuff in the milk trailer was that was so good. That was
like,
great visuals.
And the hand coming up and then like reversing and it turned into like the other side of the hand. That was sick.
Or him emerging and taking a breath and then the hands forming out of the goo to grab him and pull him back
and just pull him back down.
Like those are great. Those are great scenes. Which will never be anything in the game but video, but...
For balance of horror fatigue, this game is not a relentless in intensity, moments for breathing and beauty. But this game is more than the first one. It isn't just going from point A to B to C, blah, blah, blah. There are things the player can do between the main point that aren't as intense, more relaxed, to get their bearings and look around. That's good.
Oh, wait, look, I was reading up above one of the other points, and it goes... Each location in The Evil Within 2 is related to some character in the game, and confirmed the Obscura monster with the camera head is sort of a pet creature who takes pictures of his art and strokes his ego, sometimes more literally.
Yeah, and there was that message on the wall in the trailer that said appreciate the art,
yeah.
And there was a bunch of like bodies hanging and shit.
So I guess that's a whole component, probably a mechanic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Shinji was a lot more involved around this time, but the game's pacing as a continuation to the previous question. They've done a lot of testing, tweaking. But mentions one of Mikami's biggest involvements in the sequel is for the pacing of the game. Mentions Mikami was very concerned in making moments where they reel back intensity and change the tone and situation. Or players think they're at 10 intensity and suddenly reel it up to 11 before reeling back. Choosing the right moments to explore different possibilities. The first game was very up and down with that kind of shit. And I thought that was actually... It sounds like it's not now, but I always thought that was the intent of it, to be very like unrelenting and then like nothing. And then unrelenting and then nothing. You know, like I thought that was the purpose, but apparently not.
That's what's that called? A tool for horror movies. A lot of the time is ramp you up, drop you down, so that your heart rate drops, and then surprise you again, so the surprise is more big, right?
Yeah.
So.
There's more details you can look up. I'll put them in the show notes. I don't want to kill all the time talking about just Evil Within 2.
No.
Then Quake Champions.
I saw that and I was like, isn't this game old? Is this supposed to be a new game? This is an old game. And then, like, when it came up and it was just like, hey, new characters and maps for a game that's like, what is it, like 10 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Quake at all.
No, and I don't get why it's still being played. I'm just kind of like, okay.
The Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. I don't care. Sorry, what?
I just laughed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't care either.
Blade Strangers. I don't even know what that is.
It's a new fighter with the Switch, PS4 and PC, characters from the Code of something. I don't know. I don't even remember seeing that.
No, me neither.
Oh. I think I've seen this, but I don't remember seeing it at E3.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember that being in the press conference. It looks like an anime fighting game.
Yep.
Cool. Great.
Good for you.
And, where's that looking?
Ruiner, the Serious Sam Bogus Detour.
No. That's not even part of this.
Oh.
No, that's not even, yeah. Well, I think that was it. That was, yeah. Alright, fuck them. Cool. So Bethesda strikes me as, they didn't need to be here this year. I think they only wanted to be here to set precedent, because this is only their third year, remember. Mm-hmm. The first year was when they announced Fallout 4, and they wanted to do that cool, like,
it's coming out
it's
in 6
3 months away.
Yeah,
that thing. And then last year, again, they had cool stuff to show. And this year, it seemed like a lot of... These all could have been press release announcements, except for Wolfenstein and Evil Within. Mm-hmm. And they really could have just given that to Sony or Microsoft. Or... No, not Nintendo. No. They could have given it to Sony or Microsoft just to make their press conference that much better.
Yeah.
But instead, they still chose to have their own show. And
But I think, like you said, I think it's a precedent thing. Like, each E3 ever since, they show up, and they filled the gap that's happening with game releases, right? There are a couple of games that got announced on other studios that are releasing this year as well, but Bethesda came in and was like, you know that gap at the end of the year that you guys all panic about? Because now every single trailer that pops up says 2018. We've got stuff coming out in a couple of months.
Sure. And look, if Microsoft had a particularly bad year, which they did say last year, I wouldn't expect them not to show up because they're Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Bethesda said before, like, we're not necessarily doing this every year. Mm-hmm. Like, we're only going to show up when we have good stuff to show. And now I think that they've just gotten to the mindset of, like, we're going to do it every year.
But they had good stuff to show. Like, Wolfenstein 2 was it wasn't, like, mind-blowing in my case, but a lot of people, like, flipped their shit to see Wolfenstein again. That was a huge announcement. That's got a lot of attention from E3. And it makes Bethesda show up on the list. And Evil Within is a huge one as well.
I think they're both... I think that whole conference was a slog for me personally. And I think that they could have just given those 2 announcements to someone else.
I just felt like, to me, like, I didn't think it was just like a slog. I just felt like they were out there and they're like, I don't give a fuck, but we're coming up here to tell you that these 2 amazing things are releasing in 6 months. What? And then they leave. And they're like, they just knew that those 2 announcements were enough for them to show up and not even bother working on a performance.
I guess. But they did put a lot of effort into the whole, like, video thing of they had the Bethesda land in between segments and the nice little animations.
I think
and
they
stuff.
just focused in on the production.
I liked that. That was all cool. I think in my head also I just thought it was going to be a bigger year because we got that Starfield rumor and then they had the land and I was like, why spend all that money when you don't even have Evil Within 2 on the floor? What are you doing?
I don't know. I thought I was fine with it. I just felt like it was a big I don't give a shit.
One of the most disappointing press conference maybe for me.
No.
No, you know what? It probably wasn't. It was probably Sony's.
No.
Sony could have like ridden out and had like Breath of Fire like 7 though, and if that was their only one, I still would have been like 6. So that's about halfway. So you want to take a break?
Mm-hmm.
All right, stay tuned. When we come back, we're gonna have Ubisoft, Sony, and Nintendo. God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone.
That's the only things.
Those are the things we have details on.
Yeah.
Extra details. The big details.
Big news.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Pens and Pixels Popcast. 3 more conferences to go.
3 more.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft had a pretty solid showing this year. Many people think that they are the winners of E3.
No.
Yeah.
Well, actually, because Microsoft didn't really show anything that was theirs. So
most people think it's Nintendo or Ubisoft.
I could give it to Nintendo, but you're right. Actually, just because Microsoft didn't actually have Microsoft content, I would say that you're right. Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, as far as like the most solid like overall presentation, like the Ubisoft had a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Even though there was stuff like Far Cry 5 where I was like, it's more Far Cry. You know, I still like that. You know, it's not. It
wasn't bad.
It didn't blow me away, but I was like, oh, okay, all right. I was like, I know where this is going now.
I didn't see any dodging and or over showing with Far Cry 5 of the whole racism / white, you know.
No, they didn't. No, they were. Do you think they were really going to touch that though at an official press conference?
No, but I felt like maybe they would edit their trailer to make it like less obvious that they were doing that kind of stuff and maybe not focus on the religious aspect.
Well, they sure did make it less obvious that it's focused on story or anything. They just had this rockin' tune and you have to play with a dog and a sniper lady and a helicopter man. But we're not there yet.
No.
They debuted the show with Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Which, honestly, I thought looked pretty fucking good.
Really? I didn't
Yes. A
lot of people think so.
So this leaked a while ago, and everyone saw this key art, which is the Rabbids and Mario, and it's just like, oh fuck, like what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like Nintendo finally gives Mario to another studio, and like this is what they're producing. But when you actually see the game, did you see the game at all?
No.
It's XCOM.
Yeah, so everyone says it's Mario XCOM. Yeah.
I love XCOM, and like I'm getting a Switch, and I was like, I would play that on like a Switch on the couch or something, like totally.
Yeah.
Looked like way more fun than it had any right to look, basically. Because I thought it was just going to be some shitty multiplayer gun game or something, right? I had no idea it was going to be.
What was it about the Rabbids that suddenly made them into such a hated icon? Because like when the Wii first came out, it was a big thing.
They're just like minions. They're just these little babbling
rabbit things. Yeah,
idiots.
I know, but when the Wii first came out, like I remember when they came out and Raving Rabbids was like all the thing, playing Rayman Rabbids and like that stupid like you waggle your sticks and play games with them and shit, and everyone fucking loved the Rabbids. And then suddenly everyone hated them, and I'm like, well, I haven't played a Nintendo game in long enough. What the fuck did they do?
Well, I was going to say, probably overexposure. They got a lot of games.
They did.
They got a lot of their own solo games. They had a TV show for some amount of time.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there's no dialogue. It's just them being like, yeah, shit like that. So I can see why people got tired of them. They're not my favorite characters, but I did like all the ones dressed up as the Mario characters. There's a giant Donkey Kong rabbit in there and stuff. And, like, again, looks so much more fun than it had any right to. They did this, like, dorky little presentation where Miyamoto came out and Yves Guillemot, the head of Ubisoft, they were, like, shooting each other with these stupid guns and stuff.
It felt so, like... we now know that all of those ludicrous moments in Nintendo press conferences, like all the CEOs coming out and playing Mario Band or whatever, Wii Band.
Wii Music.
Wii Music or shit. Like, all those failures... is him. It's Miyamoto coming out and being like, "I'm cute." Because like he came
Probably.
out, they didn't really do that for the other Mario show, or not the other Mario. Well, basically that's what it is, but the other Nintendo show. But Miyamoto comes out for this one fucking thing, and he comes out and like, I'm gonna play Nerf on stage.
I think the bigger question is, you're the first developer to get your hands to work with Mario in a 3D realm.
Yeah.
And Miyamoto said to them, "Don't make a 3D platformer," which is fine. I get that. That's your territory, Nintendo. Yeah. But for some reason, you made an XCOM game. And it looks great, don't get me wrong, but, like, why was that your go-to? You know? Like, why? Let's make Fallout Mario? Like, they're all, like, sitting around, like, no, maybe not Fallout Mario. Like, what? I would really like to know get the dots connected.
What it could have been, though, is they could have been, like, alright, Mario Party.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So, like, that's the first connector. Like, let's do something like a board, right, that people are going to play on. And then they thought about it as like a chess game or, you know what I mean, like some sort of strategy game. And one of the best strategy games out there, and I quote strategy games, is XCOM.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who fucking knows? I just really want to see the connecting dots. It's because it does not strike me as like the first thing you would think of when you get the Mario property.
Oh, I don't think like on the whiteboard they made like a little dot and said Mario, and on the other side they were like end product, and it just was like a straight line of like, you know, like 1 point to next point to next point. I'm sure like spirals.
It just said XCOM and then just one straight line.
Yeah. I'm sure there's like all the way to that at last bit that says Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It's going to just be like this, like it's going to spiral and then shoot one direction, go back.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. How did they get here? Yeah. Anyways, looks surprisingly fun. If you like XCOM, actually go check it out because it looks like a slightly simpler version. But actually, there's a lot of added mechanics that aren't in XCOM. Like there's combo attacks and there's a focus on doing melee instead of always doing the hunker down shooting stuff. So it looks interesting. I might actually get this game. I did not think I would going into this press conference, but hey, that's E3 for you.
Oh, I got a great meme someone should make out there for Mario Kingdom Battles. It'd be just 1 Mario, 2 blank, and then 3, like, you know, like the underpants gnomes.
3
and then
profit.
3. Yeah, 3 profit. Like that's gonna be the whole thing. And just someone post that with like the guy, the director you just mentioned.
He's Gelmont.
Yeah, standing next to it with his arms in the air, going.
Actually, there was a very sweet moment where they panned to the director of the game who was sitting in the crowd, and he was like tearing up, almost crying.
Oh.
Because he was seeing Miyamoto present his game and all this shit.
I would be moved. I don't care what fucking game I made.
I made Mario Tetris.
Yeah, and Miyamoto's out there presenting it. I'd be pretty choked up.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Assassin's Creed Origins, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
More content.
Actually, they did the stupidest thing in the conference, though. They were playing the game outside on a monitor, and they had footage of them, like, not... They weren't capturing the monitor footage. They had someone just recording the screen, and the screen was dark as fuck.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, cut away. like, it was weird. I don't even know why they did it.
Some cameraman didn't realize that recording someone else's recording isn't really the best.
Yeah, someone didn't realize, and I'm not sure how, but you'd think you'd know that by now.
But that's E3.
That's E3. Live fuck-ups. I love them. The Crew 2.
Cars.
Your car, you can be in a helicopter. I don't care. South Park Fractured Butthole. Still looks great. Just come on out, man. October 17th for that game.
I don't think you guys can wait any longer for finding that perfect release window for this game. You know, just let it go. Like a fart.
And right now it's launching October 17th. Like, that's in the middle of fucking everything. Yeah. Stop it. I have it pre-ordered. I'm getting it anyways. Whatever. Then they released the good part of Assassin's Creed 4. the ship segment. They released Skull and Bones, a ship game PvP.
Yeah,
that's what you do. Yeah, it's PvP with ships. I bet some people will be really into that.
I gotta say, as a business practice, when you go back and go, what was the most popular thing we've created in the last 7 years? And they're like, the ship component of our Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And someone's like, well, just make a game of that.
Yeah. And
then like that's a business transaction right there. That someone's like, genius, we're gonna make money on it because they will.
Yeah, they chopped it out. Like, very cool. Like, I'm personally not like. I'm not going to get it, but, like, that's a cool idea.
It's not my genre. It's not your genre either. Like, I don't care about pirates.
No. They did Far Cry 5. We talked about it a little already, but very different tone than what they showed previous to this game. Everything else was very, like, somber and, like, it looked very like it was going to have a message to it. And this one was just like, you're a rootin' tootin' raspberry going around shooting hicks. Like, You're like, okay. All right, it's more Far Cry, cool. You get a dog now. That's fine.
What I did like was from the full gameplay demo they did, like the 18 minutes of gameplay that they actually played, they showed off some of the content, and one of them was like you sneaking up on the cultists, and they were actually dragging people out and like smashing their heads into the concrete, like while you're watching basically like this whole, what's that called, a Texas funeral or something? You know what we're talking about.
No.
Anyways. Like they're showing some of the mechanics of what happens. Like you have your buddies with you, so you have a dog that you command that's with you at all times, which is great. And he goes around and bites things and all that. But that's pretty much dog meat from Fallout. So it wasn't anything fresh. But then you have your other friend who was like a sniper friend who you directed to go up to the top of a water tower, and then you go over and you hide in the back and then like try and drop them in a nice way. Like that's not all new to Far Cry.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
Specific. Well, the dog is too.
Yeah.
Those mechanics we've both seen. Actually, Metal Gear.
Yeah.
You get a dog and you get a sniper girl.
Yeah.
It's exactly that, but you that hasn't been done in Far Cry now.
Oh. Yeah, no, you're right. Shit, you're probably just merging them all fucking together.
Yeah. That's new to Far Cry, but not new in general.
Yeah. But still, I mean, it looked neat. It just doesn't look groundbreaking.
It looks like, it looks like a Far Cry game.
Yeah. Which is, if you're...
Which I like Far Cry, yeah.
And then go for it. A+.
They showed Starlink Battle for Atlas, and it's a game where you have a giant toy ship.
Well, mini.
Cool. I mean, that's pretty big. That's the controller. That's on the controller. This fucking ship. It's pretty big.
Which feels fucking, like, really in the way.
It does.
Yeah. But do you know what the reaction was to this? Because when I saw it, I was like...
Mixed.
Yeah, mixed.
Some people were like, Toys to Life are dead. Why are they doing this? Some people were like, I'm going to lose my whole wallet to this. So...
Well, amiibos are a thing. How the fuck is Toys to Life a thing? That's not a thing. But when I saw it, I was personally just like, this seems interesting. But I have to give Ubisoft one thing, is that they are trying something very new. Because it's very cool to like make up your own ship and then take like a missile pack off and stick a different missile pack on, and suddenly you have a new weapon in the game. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a neat mechanic there, like the reality, augmented reality / like meeting to your game.
And I bet even if this game is a total flop, they'll still make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah. Kudos to them for exploring new territory.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Transference, which was a VR game by Elijah Wood's studio, Spectre Vision. He's done some good horror movies up until now. And now we're going into the world of VR, and it looks spooky, and I'm not fucking playing that. Yeah. Not doing it, but good on you, Elijah Wood.
But is this one that's like not a game? It's just basically a VR movie?
As far as I know, it's a game. We don't know though. They didn't show off like gameplay.
I think it's this. I think when I read some news on this, they said it was like just a movie. It's like a rail shooter, but no shooting.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's even less. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that then. And then they topped their conference off with something that everybody wanted. Everybody loved it. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah. If we have actually, did you actually play the first one?
I played part of it. I stopped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've never played it. I didn't even realize it was actually a hit. I remember seeing Beyond Good and Evil in the rental
store. It's like a cult hit.
Yeah, okay. I just remember seeing it, and then like everyone's like, "Great game." And I'm like, "Really? The one with the boar and the monkey?" And like, what?
I never fell in love with it. That's the thing. I liked the characters from what I played, but I didn't really like the gameplay. Granted, I played it way later on. They remastered it on like the 360 or something, and I jumped in at that point because I was like, everyone loves this fucking game. Let's give it a try. And it was just, eh.
Yeah. Must be the story. The story must be insane.
It was a little Zelda-y, a little bit like, it was just kind of like bad action, but that's also like PS2 era stuff. Like, that's fine. But this trailer was fucking bananas, no pun intended. Get this swearing monkey, like this swearing pig. There's a lot of swearing.
There's a lot of swearing. They decided to take this hard R, it looks like.
Which makes no sense to me, because the first one is rated E or T.
Yeah.
Like, it's everyone or teen. And like, this
I remember looking cartoony and fluffy.
It did.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So from my small knowledge, I definitely can pick it out that, this was a strange shift. But
so this was like kind of the re-announcement of it, because it got announced with another CG trailer back in like 2010, I want to say. And it was the pig from the first game on the side of the road, and they were doing something. Mm-hmm. And now they've completely switched directions. Earlier this year, they released some concept art for it to like let everyone know they're still working on it. Before E3, they said, you're not seeing Beyond Good and Evil 2 at E3. And then bam, here it is. And this looks totally different than what you'd seen from Beyond Good and Evil before. I don't know how the actual, like, the hardcore fans are taking it, Because the last one left on a cliffhanger, and I assume you're probably mad that this one's a prequel.
Yeah.
Because it's finally getting made, and, like, you get no answers.
I think they're pretty excited just to get more Beyond Good and Evil, because most of the people I know who are huge fans of it, which are actually a lot of the concept artists out there, I don't know why they're a little hooked to this game. I feel like I should just go back and play it, but it's too old at this point. But anyways, They all are freaking out just to get more Beyond Good and Evil, that's for sure. So it's interesting. I can kind of get why this happened with this game, though, and all these flip changes and direction changes, because Ubisoft's gone through a pretty big restructuring since the popularity of the studio dropped a lot after... what Assassin's Creed was it with the inside-out faces? Well, one of them. Unity, I think. So, like, after that point, Ubisoft's popularity fell, and they started restructuring stuff, and really said, they're like, all right, we're going to slow down, we're going to spend more time on our Assassin's Creed games, we're going to, like, start spending time on these rather than churning them out faster for you, because we're just making too many mistakes along the way. Their pipeline got re-altered, the business got, rejigged, and they refocused themselves. I think in that process, they probably took all the Beyond Good and Evil stuff, and were like, all right, fuck this, let's just start again, and let's take this out. The presentation for it, though, I thought was a little bit like fucking arty. Like, they come out and they're like, characters and stuff, and we'll take directions and pretty fun, and...
Yeah, I don't know. I still didn't get a vibe of what the game's going to be like. They have a beta you can sign up for, spacemonkeys.com, which makes it sound like it's going to be a multiplayer thing with, like, going into space or something. Like, the way they worded it made it sound like a multiplayer thing, which is probably not, again, what people wanted from a single-player game they loved. I love the trailer. This is a movie I'd watch for sure.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. I just came out of that thinking like, oh, I'd watch that. That seems like a cool universe.
It seems like a good movie.
Yeah.
The only thing, again, for the presentation I didn't like also was that when they came out and they were talking to each other and then they brought someone else up, they kept looking just at each other. Like they were having a private conversation and they didn't want the crowd to know. The whole time. They just like would not look at the audience. They'd just be staring at each other. And then like someone else would come up and they'd just stare at each other. And like everyone else in the crowd is like, I think we're butting in. Like,
maybe he was nervous being on stage. I didn't notice that personally.
All three of them were doing it.
They called everyone up at the end, like all the Ubisoft people up at the end, and they were like, "Hey, we're fucking Ubisoft.
Yeah.
We actually won E3, maybe." Go figure. Go figure. Good showing, Ubisoft. I liked a lot of stuff you showed, and again, surprised me by making me like something I didn't think I had any chance in hell of liking. Moving on to Sony. Let's hit this first, because you already know what happened at Sony, and we're just going to be reiterating it with more details. Sony held back on E3 2017 announcements, admits Shuei Yoshida.
Which felt like it the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole press conference felt like someone, again, like a whole, to me in general, this E3 was totally solid, but I felt like every one of them, even Ubisoft, who would be considered the winner, everyone was holding in their farts. Like,
it was a lack of surprise, because even the stuff that looked great, we knew was coming. We knew Anthem was coming.
Yeah.
We knew... we actually... Anthem might have been one of the biggest surprises, because we didn't know exactly what it would look like.
Yeah.
But, the Mario Odyssey trailer, which we'll get to later, which was fantastic. Yeah. Again, we already had a reveal of Mario Odyssey. Yeah. God of War looked great. We already had the reveal of God of War. Spider-Man. We already had the reveal of Spider-Man. And the scuttlebutt around the show was that Sony was surprised that it was so lukewarm, the reception.
Yeah.
And they were like asking people like, what can we do better? Like, what can we... And to me, that's so like, do you guys not realize that you announced 3 things that no one thought was going to exist ever again? Last Guardian, FF7 Remake, and Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
No one thought those were possible.
No.
Yeah.
We were discounting so much, and we know for a fact after all the reporting we've done over the last year that there's so much more in holding from Sony companies that they haven't even talked about yet.
Well, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games interviewed Shuei Yoshida, and the strategy of where to put what content with many conferences in a year. Greg Miller asks about Sucker Punch, and that Shuei told him 2 years ago they already played Sucker Punch's game. Shuei, while laughing, says that he had played it many, many more times since. He stops himself mid-sentence before revealing too much about it. My note, it sounds like the game is ready to be revealed, but they are strategically holding it back for PSX.
And that was
almost for sure, right?
Yeah. And then that's my impression from the Sony thing after it was done. I was like, I guess they decided that E3 this year was not going to be their big reveal place, because The Last of Us 2 release that happened at PSX made more waves than anything else. But I hate this about fucking people in charge. The Last of Us 2 made more waves because you revealed the fucking Last of Us. Like, you could have done that.
You could have done it on a Tuesday in April, and it wouldn't have mattered.
You could have released it during, like, a bombing attack, and it still would have made more waves than the bombing attack.
You could have made no announcement and upload it to, like, you could have made a new channel on YouTube with 0 subscribers, and people would have found it and freaked out, and, it still would have gone viral.
You could have made a MySpace profile for it, and it would have...
People still would have fucking found it. You're absolutely right. Yeah. My only wonder is now that... So, E3, this was the first year it was being open to the public, right?
Yeah.
This was the first year public...
Well, was it open this year?
Yeah, you can just buy tickets and go in.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, this was just public on the floor officially.
We want a press pass. Make us popular.
I agree. So I'm wondering if because and it sounds like it was successful, like monetarily and stuff. I wonder if this becomes more like I don't want to say PAX. I guess it'll still be a gaming show, but I wonder if there'll be more shit like this Sony announcement where they show off stuff they already have, a couple little announcements, and now PSX is going to be the big boy where they announce Last of Us 2s and Sucker Punch's new game.
That was initially the intention for a lot of these companies. Before Sony kind of revamped the E3 game for the last 3 years, most of the studios were talking about getting out of E3 and no longer participating in it and having their own conferences because they were tired of competing with each other.
Yeah, you just get more attention if you do it on May 2nd, and you have the
on
whole thing to yourself.
Yeah, do Ubi Day or whatever, right? But Sony came back and was like, oh yeah, by the way, before you all go, I'm just gonna like pull out my 3 tentacly elephant dicks and show off, and everyone else is like, oh, I'm threatened by elephant dicks, and then they all started trying to do the same thing. But now it feels like Sony's kind of completing its original task, where it was like, we're gonna just move on.
Yeah, no, totally. Like so I was blown away by how unimpressed I was at this, but they started off the pre-show with a game very close to Mike and my's heart, Ni no Kuni 2. It's getting a release date of November 10th.
This year.
Which
is amazing. I'm super excited to play more Ni no Kuni. I finally finished the whole thing just last year before my PS3 died, or 4. No, I got on my PS4 for PS Plus. I loved the game. It's like playing a Studio Ghibli Miyazaki game, which is everything you could ever hope it to be. And this game looks like more of the same, which really is all it needs to be with a few new systems.
Well, I would say it way revamped the combat system.
Oh, very much revamped combat system. But
no more familiars, no more little Pokemans.
Well, you get these little things which buff you or you get used as abilities or something. I don't know. We don't know too much about the system in detail, but it looks great, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun. There's just almost no way for that game to be truly awful. And you said the initial impressions were actually, it was nice. Yep,
initial impressions, everyone is pretty hot on it.
Yep.
They also, in the pre-show, announced Hidden Agendas, which is Supermassive's next game, the Until Dawn developers. They've been busy bees. It's not the only thing they've been working on. There's like a fucking horror VR game they're working on, and 2 other VR games, both of which look like shit. Bravo Team, which is just like you're a gun, or whatever. And like another, I don't even know what the other one was. It sucked. But cool to see a follow-up from them. Hidden Agendas looks like you're playing... I don't know if you have to play it this way. It seems like you play single player too. But it's a voting game where like you and your friends can get together with something called PlayLink. Sounds like it's an app on your phone. And as someone else is playing the game, you all get to vote on what decision is going to happen. So, take left or right, or how to interrogate this guy, or whatever.
It seemed like there was also a secrecy component to it, because there was like, you make a decision and you flip your phone up and you put it against your chest to hide your decision.
My wonder was, is someone playing the serial killer?
That's the thing. They were talking about it. Like, you hide your decision. Maybe you made a decision that everyone doesn't agree with, so don't hide it so no one else knows. And you're kind of playing against each other. And there are multiple characters you play with. And it's Until Dawn, but in a heavy rain setting, actually.
Yeah, and it's like it's a perfect game for that kind of playability, because that's exactly what you do in a crowd setting in those games. Everyone starts shouting at the screen like, "Go right! No, don't do that!" Like, great.
Did they say that could be played completely online without having to do it in person, or was it only an in-person play link?
I don't know. I didn't see any information about that. Yeah. That's what I'm wondering, because they said it was inspired by when they saw streamers like doing it, and everyone was yelling decisions in chat about do this or do that. So I have to assume there's some way that a stream can play.
It may be, and if it is completely online, then we can get Peps in and even Leah or something and play together. But that would make the game a little bit more fun. Like, I mean, I'm sure the one-player campaign and the story and the work they've done with Until Dawn makes they make that game amazing. I'm sure it'll be an amazing game. But that component, I don't want to play it without it.
No, yeah, it seems like the way to play it. Yeah. They made it with that in mind, right?
So I really want to try that component out. So, I mean, it's funny. Remember back in the day when you used to play multiplayer games, but they're never as fun without all the people hooked up, so you're like waiting to get 4 friends together to play something, like Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're kind of in a scenario again where you're like, how do we get 4 people in a house?
And that's happening again with Hidden Agendas.
Yeah.
They announced a bunch of other shit pre-show. The fucking Final Fantasy remaster, 12 remaster. Sorry.
Some more Dissidia content.
Yeah. There's a Dissidia game coming on the PS4,
which is great.
Get stoked if you like Dissidia.
Dissidia's great.
They announced Undertale also, which is that people like that game. I feel like I should play it. Everyone loves it so fucking much. I feel like I should see what the hubbub was about.
I feel like the same thing, but I could never bring myself to do it.
All right, so their actual conference, they kicked it off with Uncharted Lost Legacy. Looks really good. Yeah. Looks really good.
So the Sony conference, though, also started off with performance art going on around all their shit.
Yeah, so they had weird vibes. I actually loved the way it started.
Yeah, the music was cool.
The music was cool. The waterfall with the different symbols was cool. I like that. Started off strong. They show Uncharted. I'm like, cool, strong game to start with. Looked good. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I might. Depends when it comes out. When is it coming out? August 22nd. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Have you played well, this is a DLC, isn't it?
No, it's like a separate expansion. It's going on its own.
Okay. Cool.
You can play it. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, The Frozen Wilds.
Which was a curse to me because my save file for Horizon Zero Dawn, which I completed to 100% and was many, many hours of work, I have to replay now because my PS4 fried. So,
look, they didn't say specifically you need to have
maybe not
done this game either.
But do you think I'm going to turn that game on without the final armor on? She had it on in the demo. You think I'm not going to walk around? She did have it on in the demo, yeah. If I have to be a cave woman, I'm choosing the armor that comes with a force field. Like, what the fuck else am I going to do? So...
Yep. Then they had a Monster Hunter demo, which is a big deal. Monster Hunter is huge in Japan. Huge franchise. They fucking love it over there.
As an interesting backstory for us, though, too, is that we've always talked about Monster Hunter and wished it was a different kind of game. And I used to bring up a game like I kind of designed around Monster Hunter, where it involved lots of people getting together and doing all sorts of interesting stuff, like climbing up its leg and then hitting in the back of the leg and dropping a trap and blah, 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 right? Like, everyone had this role, and they all focused on taking down this monster. Most Monster Hunter games at the end of the day were like, look, a thing, chop, 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 it's dead, skin it, go make a new thing. This game came up with, when the combat actually started, new mechanics for combat that made it look very interesting.
Yeah, the grappling hook, especially with the increased mobility.
Yeah.
I think you could always do this, but mounting the beast looked really cool. Yeah. And the impressions I heard from the behind the door demo sounded really cool about all the monsters interacting with each other.
Yeah.
Told a story about this this monster that would like eat another monster, kill it, and then it would walk over engorged, and then drop out the monster out of its mouth, covered in saliva, and then all its like kin, like its fucking spawns, would like come out of the woodworks and just start feeding on it and stuff, and like that's just such a cool thing to do.
Yeah, which would also mean like a hunting thing, like running over and killing it before it did this would probably not be the best thing. Wait for all its spawn to come out and like take it out, and you get all this shit. I like the idea of being able to like climb all over it and like hit it in different spots, and like there's an interactivity to that fight, tying it up and in rope and vines or dropping shit on it and stuff like that. Like it felt like more closer. It's not there to like the dream.
It's not exactly what we were talking about, but I am intrigued by this game, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, and this is the first time out of 6 frickin' Monster Hunter games that either Kyle and I were both like, oh, it has a potential for me to even touch it.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It looks interesting.
Yeah.
Next up, they did Days Gone. And this is where the performance art really like hit the
shit.
Shit hit the fan, I guess. Yeah. Days Gone. We finally know what the game actually is. You've played it before. Yeah. It's called The Witcher. It's called Horizon.
Yeah. Or The Last of Us.
Or The Last of Us. Or Open World Last of Us. Yeah. Because Last of Us is not really open world. But it is. It's very much a Last of Us type vibe, and then they got the fucking detective vision. They got wandering around and with their fucking freakers, going on.
Zombies.
They're zombies. I realize they have to stay on brand and just call them
what they are.
Freakers or infected or whatever, wanderers, whatever you call your zombie.
Yeah.
It's a zombie.
Yes. Like, sorry guys.
And I love seeing like interviewers also, they always go, and then the zombies, freakers, and they always like have to apologize and try to...
I've seen them correct them too, and be like,
yeah, because otherwise they do. They go, well, they're not zombies, and you're like, I think I wouldn't have the personal patience to like be like, I'm like, okay. Like, I would either give like the sassiest like, okay man. Like,
just, alright.
Yeah, alright.
Let's just move on.
But Days Gone looks like a solid game.
That's the thing. The game is underwhelming because there's nothing in it that excites me because it's just been a game I've played many times before. But it is still a game I would play. Like, I loved a lot of the stuff about it. Like, setting the bear trap and making the guy scream to call the horde over, and then it killed all the guys in the camp.
And the fact that they can't make noise because it'll attract freakers, so they had to murder their own guy because of that bear trap.
Yeah. Like you driving down the road and randomly people put out a fucking tripwire to knock you off, and then you've got to like smash them up against the side of a thing, and if you smash them up against a post, you'll actually choke them with the rope, and
so
like that stuff was amazing.
The big thing they're trying to sell here is the dynamicness of the world.
Yeah.
So they said one of the biggest things to note is the time of day and weather systems that Sony Bend has implemented. As it turns out, these things will make how you play out a particular scenario much different. During presentations this week, we saw the same segments played a few times, and it was very clear that things were vastly different just due to the weather. For example, rain can dampen sound, snow can make visibility issues, and freakers are stronger in snow and usually greater in numbers. Time of day also drives the density of the horde, and as everything in high desert of Oregon follows a realistic ecosystem. The various creatures also follow what would be considered normal patterns when it comes to looking for prey and food. Also, the horde needs to look for... They need food and they need water, so you might see them all near a river drinking, which is kind of cool. I like that attention to detail.
I like the attention to the AI for the whole horde and swarm kind of thing. Like they aren't just an algorithm that just makes them all walk in one direction. It is actually a system of many multiple AIs that make them move that way. So it creates that very like human riot kind of like sea of people look, and it is super cool. Like I'll give it.
It is. It is neat.
Yeah.
The other thing is. These two systems help create dynamic events where there's no way to predict what can happen. Comparing experiences with friends will be different based on what's happened in your particular story versus theirs. Bend has likened Days Gone to a brutal test of survival, where only very few encounters are scripted and anything can happen. Let a runner chase you too long, he might knock you off your motorcycle. Even sound can be dangerous. Make the wrong kind of sound, and you can have humans, creatures, or the horde after you. Or make a strategically placed sound, and you could have the horde take out enemies for you. Play it how you want, the game will respond to your playstyle. But remember, when in doubt, run. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and like, that all sounds cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the bike. Deacon's bike is an expanded storage bank. Great. As well as a transportation system. You will only be able to carry limited weapons and supplies as you tackle obstacles, but you can store equipment in your bike and outfit yourself in between encounters. I kind of like that.
I mean, they have to have a system like that. If I had to go back to fucking town every time, I'd probably throw out the game.
No, but it's neat that, like, you just don't have, like... I have all the weapons on me at all times, constantly. You know, it's like you have to go, okay, I'm going to take my shotgun and an axe, or like whatever it is, right?
Yeah, or however many you can carry.
Yeah.
No, I'm down with those kind of systems. No, Days Gone looks interesting, and I might play it, or probably will play it. It's just, again, like, there's so much system inside of it that felt so similar, and there's also, like, almost like a lame duck kind of side feel to it, with a few things. First one being like the main character. I understand that, like you told me, they were intentionally designing him to be a douchebag and unlikable.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's I think that's a ballsy move to make your main character unlikable, because the first thing you said about him was like he seems like a douche, and like he does. He seems like kind of like a biker, I guess, Sons of Anarchy style, right? Like that's. And maybe you don't like him, and I don't even know if the goal is to make you like him. You know?
No, I know, but
is he just shitty all the time? Like, are we supposed to? I just wonder what the goal is there, you know?
I mean, Joel was a shitty person in Last of Us after his daughter died, but you grew...
Joel's interesting.
He has
interesting flaws to him.
And I thought about him since the day I saw him in a trailer about him being interesting. The second I saw this guy, I was like, I don't care. Your mother could have come and like tried to murder you in the womb, and I won't think you're interesting. Like, it's just nothing about you sounds fun. But... like that's a weird part to it, and the other part is just some of like again like with the whole zombie thing and them not calling it zombies, where they're like, all right, so there's the swarm, which is the smaller amount of zombies, the horde, which is the big amount of zombies, and then they're freakers if they're just like two, and then you're like, all right, well, do you have anything else outside of that?
We got
like,
ragers.
Yeah, and it's like, well, what's that? It's a bear that's been infected. Okay, so does it anything else, like anything mutated? No, just infected animals and humans. All right, so you've got humans and animals.
Yeah, and also the marauders, which are the humans.
Yeah.
And they, they gave this spiel that if you have literally listened to any zombie media ever in the last 10 years, they're honestly just saying the exact same like line you've heard about, like, zombies aren't the real enemy in this world, it's the other humans. It's like, oh, really? The fucking like tagline for The Walking Dead on AMC, the most popular show out there right now? Like, yeah, it's just... Yeah, I'm just tired of hearing that.
Yeah, it's like they were wanting to make the Walking Dead game, and then they were just like, you're not allowed to use the rights. Call it Days Gone.
Yeah. Well, they're not walkers, they're freakers. Yeah. There you go.
My character is a biker. So you can't name him Daryl. All right.
Shit.
Fuck, what the fuck's his name? Yeah.
Yeah. So there are definitely negatives to that game, but like we said, it looks solid, and I'm interested in it for sure.
Yeah.
then what did they do? Oh, Shadow of the Colossus. Hey, that's being remade for the PS4. That was probably the biggest surprise.
That was surprising.
Because, like, what?
Yeah. I saw it coming up, and I'm like, is this Ico? Or... Because I couldn't even really... I'm so used to the old graphics. I was like, what the fuck is this? They're making another one already? They just did Last Guardian. And then I saw it at Shadow of the Colossus clearly, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm excited, because I've always wanted to replay that game, but at this point, I'm just like, there's no way I'm going back to that clunky control system, and there's no way I'm going back over a game that old.
And yeah, they're actually revamping the controls.
Yeah.
And I was only surprised, or I was even more surprised by this, because they just released a remastered version not that long ago of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus in a collection.
Yeah. But I think this is almost like... It's not a remake, it is a remaster more than a remake.
No, those ones were remasters. This one is a remake ground up, like with the new graphics, new control system, everything, you know?
So I think it's just... But, like, they don't design anything, they just have to, like, program it out and build some models.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to go replay it, even though...
Sure, yeah, I was, yeah, this is probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
But it's, like, a little, it's the same time, it's, like, a little underwhelming, because you're like, oh, I have played this before.
I have played this, it's just prettier.
Yeah. Then God of War.
Yeah.
God of War.
That War of Gods.
That God of War. I'm not underwhelmed by it. I thought it was the best trailer Sony showed. It didn't have as high of an impact as last year's, which also was the reveal.
Yes.
But I also think it looked cooler.
It was underwhelming in the God of War standard of what I was expecting to get to see. I mean, like, when it first started up, I was fine, but there was no environment with that first setting of him, like, standing in the lake and stuff. I'm like, well, I'm not really awed by anything yet. And then the scenes pick up, and you see a few more things, and it's all discussion. But then when the combat kicked in, that was where I kind of lost my hype. Because when we saw in the original first trailer, we saw him, like, block a punch, throw an axe into a guy that locked him into a wall.
And then beat the fuck out of another guy, and then call his axe back.
And like, you know, then he blocked an attack. And then it was like an interactive combat system that looked almost quick-timey, as I quote in the air. But it looked like it was functional. It was a system in the game, and that's how you play. And then this combat pops up, and it's just hack, hack, slash. So it looked like square, square, X. Square, X.
It looked very normal. Like what you
Death
normally
blow
see.
animation.
It looked pretty, but like, yeah, it looked a lot more like, here's combat.
Yeah.
That you know and expect, yeah.
This is what you've seen before, and it's a little bit less flashy than the original God of War. But there is that weird, confusing side to it as well when he's like fighting that ogre, and it just looks like he's naturally walking up to the guy, and then he smacks him into the air, and he flies backwards, falls through a roof. And, like,
very cinematic looking.
Very cinematic. But like the whole sequence after that looked like functional.
And then that looked like a cutscene when he goes flying in the air. And there's heavy debates whether that is actually gameplay or cutscene. Yeah.
And on the same time, like later on, you see him fighting another one of those, and he kills it in a different way where he runs up behind it, jumps off its head, and grabs the actual heavy thing and like drags it down on top of his head with a burning log.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a whole bunch of different kinds of sequences, and maybe they're interactive to the environment. So like if you got knocked into the air, it's a sequence, right? But it's like it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Which I'd be fine with that component, where there could be so many different scenarios where the sequence happens and like you get knocked on your ass, but it's different. It's not like a death blow animation that you'll see 7,000 times, right? Like the Doom death blow animations were fun for the first few times, and then after a while you're like, great, there's 12 of them. So if I do this one, it's just like, I'll do it again.
Doom?
Yeah.
Doom, that was a necessary mechanic, though.
No, it was. It totally was.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, it does get hackneyed and old, especially in a slasher.
Oh, I mean, you feel nothing. Like, you're just like, I ripped that thing apart. Like, whatever. So honestly, the coolest thing about this trailer to me was when Kratos sees himself on a pot, on an old vase, and it's like him, and it's like, remember, like,
and with the two daggers, too.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, fuck, he's gonna be like, remember, his past is gonna be shoved in his face.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of cool. I like that. They're not forgetting his origins. And they also, at the very end, they have this giant world serpent fucking rise out of the sea. And you're like, okay, time to hack its eyeball, I guess. Like, they're going to God of War the hell out of this thing. And it's like, it wants to help. And I was like, oh, that's a cool way to flip the regular God of War thing on its head.
Yeah.
I think everyone expected him to, like, jump into the mouth and rip out the belly. And
I find that's going to be, I think that's going to be the theme for this game. Because, like, during the story, or during the trailer, he's, like, God of Warring. He's like, you know, taking things head off and going, ah, and shit. And then the boy goes, but not everyone's evil. And then another character pops up, which looks like maybe a shopkeeper character or a selling character, like a blue dude in yellow armor. So I think the boy is teaching him that, like, you know, maybe you shouldn't just jump right inside of the eye of the beast kind of thing. Like that episode of Futurama with Leela, where she's like half centaur and she keeps trying to kill everything.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good episode.
It's a good episode.
Every Futurama episode is a good episode. Okay, so here's some stuff about people who've gotten their hands on with God of War.
They got their hands on it? Jeez.
Or you know what? Maybe they just watched a demo. I'm not sure. Combat is still fast and bloody. The focus has just shifted slightly.
Oh.
Don't worry about the weighty pace of slaying seen in the E3 2016 demo. This is not Dark Souls Odin Edition. Kratos can still slice, dice, hack, and wreck with the best of them. His personal reach might no longer match that of his old Blades of Chaos. But in the demo I saw today, he's clearly fast, ferocious, fearsome, and as flowing as he was back in Greece. His attacks have a more direct, heavy impact, but his crowd control efficiency remains supreme. Fear not. When you want to spill blood, it will be spilled. And when you need to deal with threats from further afield, hey, you've got a son with a bow.
Oh.
Yeah, so it does not sound like we're getting the demo that we were both enthralled with.
Looks like they're backtracking on their dev. Who would want the more slashy version? Answer me that, people out there. Who wants the more slashy version of God of War?
This is the thing. I like the old God of War games, and I don't want it back.
No, that's the thing. I love the old God of War games. I'm excited for this game because I was a God of War fan, but I want what I saw in that demo. I don't want smooth, slashy, crowd control, fight 6 goblins at once. I want to fight 2, but really intently.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe that will be left for boss fights, because in that trailer you see that he's in this like cave area that's very foggy, and there's that thing coming at him. He's all cloaked, and it's just one of them, and he has his shield up, and he's like, okay, like maybe it'll be more in those areas where it's a little more controlled. Maybe you get to do that kind of stuff.
But it was more exciting for the idea that every fight required a little bit more tactical control.
I'm with you. I'm just trying to put a silver lining.
Oh yeah, well, it's hard to do that when your hands are covered in shit.
Ooh. So yeah, honestly, both of the things I was the most stoked for in that trailer weren't the gameplay I saw. It was story.
Yeah.
It was story elements, which it looks like this game's gonna like have in droves, right? Like Kratos' fucking relationship with his son, or whatever it is, if it's actually his kid.
Well, they seem to keep saying it is, so.
The partnership doesn't end on the battlefield. The two are going to be a unit through every aspect of their journey. That bit at the end of the Sony press conference demo when Kratos asks Atreus what the World Serpent is saying. He does that because he doesn't yet speak the language of the land effectively enough to communicate with the seemingly benevolent monster. Kratos might be training his son to fight and survive, but as the brains and the heart of the operation, far more in touch with the world around him, both intellectually and emotionally, Atreus will, geographically and existentially, be his father's guide.
Great.
It's a much more nuanced world than before, and Kratos is no superhero. At any another point about that serpent, consider how that scene would have played out in any previous God of War game. I already fucking covered this.
You would have been in his eye.
Yeah, exactly. QTEs are over. Control is now yours. Barlog admits that as QTEs are discussed, that he was tired of God of War's trademark cinematic combat trick by the end of the second game. Thus, they're not coming in anything like in the same capacity in the new one. That's not to say that there won't be huge standout takedown moments. It's just that from now on, they'll be under the player's control, triggered by the same actions and agency as everything else in the game. There's a grab button. There's a hit with axe button. Players know how to use such things, so Barlog is going to trust them to know how to combine them at the right time for the right destructive purpose. Much as God of War's exploration won't hint or dictate with collectible checklists or leading waypoints, its violence is going to let the player carve their own path.
Well, maybe that's more of a glowing thing. So what I'm thinking is, like, let's say you press button for grab, and you grab one of them by the neck, and then you press button for throw axe, you'll throw the axe at the other guy, and then you press button for punch, and then you'll punch him in the head. And if you push them in the right combos and the right orders, depending on the scenario,
or if you grab him and take him to the wall, then you actually, maybe, because remember in that demo, he was like surrounded by these rocks, right? Yeah. These little rocks area, so it was very close quarters, but maybe you can do that when it's...
Yeah, like maybe like when they were showing in the sequences for this game, in this demo, where like he's took off one of their heads and he did that like 300 kind of moment where he like looks at the camera and was like screaming and then he took the head off. Like maybe you could hit them once and then you hit one where it's like lodge axe button or something, right? And then you lodge it in, kick them back, and then you can push another button to take off their head, and it turns into you controlling each step and memorizing which buttons activate that next step in the sequence and take them down differently. And it's about constantly exploring and finding out new ways for you to make those combinations work in different orders.
Could be.
Which I would be down with a system like that. That's a little bit more interesting than me doing square, square at triangle.
Yeah, I wonder if it is that, but you could also square, square, square your way through the fucking game.
Yeah, we should. Okay, so yes, and that's probably what it's exactly going to be. I think games today should start moving away from that.
I think games today should start moving away from QTEs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are outdated and old and shitty.
Yes.
Foreshadowing. So the show Destiny 2, whatever, fucking looks like shit after Anthem, honestly.
Yes.
I feel so underwhelmed by Destiny after seeing Anthem. It really wrecked any notion I had of playing that game.
I was not feeling like I was going to play it, but then like I heard everyone else and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, you know what? Some of these classes look kind of neat and I wouldn't mind going back and nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, why even bother?
Why bother?
Final Fantasy 15 Monsters of the Deep was announced for PlayStation VR. Hey, did you like fishing in Final Fantasy 15? Do you like electric guitars?
Yeah. I was literally texting. he's air guitaring. I was literally texting Cal in the middle of this whole thing, and I was just like, I wrote him, I'm like, hard fishing. You know, like,
it was
catch bass.
It was fucking just what? Yeah. It was in this VR segment. We're not going to talk about the other VR games because why would we? And like, it's just why are they still making content like this?
Even in the VR games, it was weird. So like they have like VR games. Even that mouse one looks semi-interesting, and then suddenly they're just like this punk rock, and then it's just like a minute and a half of Noctis fishing.
Yeah.
And it's like I caught a bass.
Yeah, so weird. Yeah. Elder Scrolls Skyrim for VR. Don't care again. If you want to play Skyrim VR, that's cool. You can do it now.
Mm-hmm.
That game is 6 years old at this point. Detroit Become Human. Same thing as God of War for me. I liked this trailer. It just didn't hit me the same as last year's.
I didn't like the new character they've introduced. That was my big thing. So there was something about introducing the story in that fashion, going to like this, like, oh, you're inciting a revolution. In comparison to like Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, those games really didn't have much in the way of those like high action or high octane things that you were really doing. They had a few moments in it, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was very slow paced and about you feeling like you're this person living a life. You know, like literally go and touch a painting and like, you know, slightly adjust it left and then clean up your socks and stuff. Like it was in those details that you actually kind of got lost.
Make breakfast.
Yeah, make breakfast. And then it was the original demo gameplay trailer we saw of this game was a guy in a negotiation scene, right? There's a good use of this kind of temp pace, right? Like you're going to talk someone off. You're not fighting this guy. You're going to literally figure out how to talk this guy down off the ledge. Mm-hmm. This was a little bit more grandiose, and it felt like these games are action-y. Don't you worry. So that was a downside to it, but also I felt like this new character. What was his name? Damien?
I have no idea.
I don't care. Wasn't likable. Like I want to play the cop character.
Oh, for sure.
The cop character android. I want to play the girl.
Honestly, like after seeing that negotiation and the detective work that he was doing and stuff, I want that to be the whole game.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm sure the other stuff will be fine, but like really looking forward to the detective cop segments.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of true for all the other games too. Like even in Heavy Rain, like I hated like playing most of the characters except for the main character and the fat detective.
Oh, you didn't like the guy who was weirdly addicted to his cyber headset or whatever that was?
God, I hated that so much.
What the fuck was that? Yeah, that was weird.
That
was a really weird storyline.
And then like at the end, like there's a chance you get him like permanently addicted and he like sees shit or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And why was there any sort of high-tech technology in this rest of this game that was set in like, you know, old-time Dick Tracy?
They didn't explain a lot of things well in that game.
No.
That's why.
Yes. Because ghosts.
Yeah, because ghosts and because Juno. So yeah, Detroit Become Human. I'm still stoked on it because it sounds like it's gonna be cool. I'm on the same page as Mike. I'm not nearly as excited about inciting a revolution as maybe I should be. I'm way more interested in talking that guy off the ledge and doing shit like that.
Yeah, but I'm still super pumped, and it still looks beautiful, and I like the story itself and the whole of tackling AI is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, so. I'm sure we'll jump between these three characters and. Yeah. Maybe this revolution guy is the guy addicted to his cyber head. Yeah. You know, that's probably what it is.
Maybe.
It's going to be that storyline where we're like, we veer away a little bit.
But I'm still super looking forward to playing.
And I think that's all the big ones. So let's jump into it and talk about Spider-Man. Everyone's E3 game of the show.
What? Really?
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of people's game of the show, for sure. They've got a lot of game shows. So Spider-Man. Mike, what'd you think?
So when the game, the trailer started up, I was happy with the way it started up. I really liked the way the Spider-Man used his webbing, like wrapping that guy up like a spider would. And I liked dropping the remote spiderweb thing that grabbed him and lashed him into the wall. So I liked the way that they played around with Spider-Man's webbing and made it a little bit more interactive.
You're right. I do like those small details.
Yeah, those small details were really I'm like, oh, cool. They're getting some really great visuals in that really sell me on some Spider-Man. I know this seems stupid and it's my little personal stupid complaint, but I remember swinging and moving around in other Spider-Man games, like feeling so good. But you like taking a recticle and landing it on a spot, and then constantly elasticy, like two-shotting yourself around that space. Especially considering how different the distance was. Like, he's just doing the same little small arm movement and launching himself up 15 floors or 2 feet.
This is a Wolfenstein thing in a Spider-Man game for Mike.
Yeah. It didn't...
And see, this is the thing. This is like one of the few things that didn't bother me about this demo. Or I didn't even notice it, honestly, until you said it. Yeah. You kind of ruined that aspect for me, too, a little bit.
But it was one of the small things that bothered me.
For sure, I could see that looking repetitive.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, in other games, was there a reticle like that?
No.
No, right? It was just kind of like you looked in that and it like intuitively just would stick to where you want.
And the good ones were like you just push the button for web swing and it would just automatically swing you into the ledge you needed to get close to. It was very organic.
Yeah.
And then they got into the combat, which I thought actually looked really spectacular. If it plays out like the Batman Arkham Asylum combat, I'm happy with that. I think they could have done more with it. But
that's my thing too. I think I was, again, this is putting expectations on it, maybe unfairly.
A little bit.
But because Batman, when it came out, it was the first one to do the Batman fighting system, and then every action game after that has it. Fucking Assassin's Creed has it. Shadow of War has it. Sleeping Dogs has it. Like, so many action games utilize this combat system. It's the new norm for that kind of thing. I wanted Spider-Man to come out and do something different. Just something. Even if they're adding to this system a little bit. And it was just like, you went into slow-mo more, it seemed like. But it looks fine.
What I really liked about it, though, is like in the very beginning of every fight, it clicked off with your spider sense, and you had to land a few shots to blind a few people because they'd all start shooting you. So you couldn't just like dodge bullets, right? Because like in the Batman games, a lot of them were unarmed. Like magically, the whole town had no rifles in it and shit. So like I was always like, all right, well, why? But but in Spider-Man, like everyone's gonna have guns and other shit. So like he's dodging and using his spider sense and like disabling a few. But then I did if you watch the demo, there's like L1 X forward, back, or whatever. I think there's a lot of L1 X and circle. But like pressing those in certain timing when you're punching someone made lots of really great, cool Spider-Man attacks happen. Like where he slid between their legs, went up behind them, kicked him in the air, grabbed him with the web shooter, and slammed him on the ground. Lots of great moves and stuff like that for that kind of combat. Even all the way up to fighting the usual, as very stereotypical in any, especially Spider-Man game, the heavy.
Yeah.
Like you fight the heavy.
It was a fatter version of the guys you've already been fighting. Yeah.
Which, like, you shoot the webbing on them and you can't web them up, so you're like, alright, that doesn't work. But I did like that, like, in that moment, you actually webbed to the side of yourself and grabbed a brick and swung it into
There were a lot of environmental stuff.
Yeah.
And I wonder, was there cues for that on the screen?
No.
Or
well, it was a visual cue, like your spider sense kind of cue that, like, this could move. But there was no, like, press triangle and grab that. It was just, like...
I wonder if it's just a button you have that's, like, environmental or something, or how that works.
And even if that's the case, I mean, like, you've just got to press a direction and like, it's environmental button.
Yeah, or I just wonder how it functions.
But that would be interesting. So that stuff was all fine, but then the demo went to shit for me.
Yeah, I wasn't even feeling it up to that point, really. I was pretty underwhelmed by it up to that point, and I was hoping they were going to, after this, show some swinging around the city.
They did.
Yeah, but it wasn't casual swinging. It was like frantic swinging.
Yeah.
You had a goal. I just wanted them to like chill. I wanted this demo to be 10 minutes of like, here's the swinging mechanic, man. Isn't this fucking good? Like, I don't know. So, anyways, it just turns into a fucking QTE fest after this.
Yeah.
And again, I know in my head, like, there's going to be some QTEs in this game. It's obviously, you're not going to go to that sequence and be like, okay, the rest of the game is Telltale. And, like, you're just QTEing and like, all this shit. I get it. But, like, it was very underwhelming to see a demo where it was just like, press X. Okay, press triangle a couple minutes later. Yeah. You just weren't in control after that, like, barely at all.
Yeah, like, I mean, the web swinging looked great, and apparently it feels great and everything. I liked the wall running. I liked how there was a lot of natural takeover for not letting yourself clip into things. In the other games, like, whenever you hit into, like, a scaffolding or a stairwell next to an apartment building, you just, like, land on it, and then suddenly the goblin's like, the goblin got away, and you're like, I
can't jump out of this fucking fire escape!
like, you're just stuck inside. So... You know, like, I liked that. I liked even, like, when the board broke and then, like, you actually, like, you know, kind of did a flip through it, through a little gap and all that shit. So that looked good, but...
And all that was very reminiscent of their last game, Sunset Overdrive, on the Xbox One. One of the few games I played on there. It was great. Like, they had a really, really great way of traversing around the city as you were grinding on fucking... telephone pole and wires and shit. And you go and you do a wall run and you do it, like, infinitely, but then you need to... press a different trigger to flip up and start grinding on something else. And, like, they just had a great way of doing it and making you feel like you were still in control.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've translated that very well to this.
Yeah, and so that looks great. But the thing was, like, the moment the whole demo switched over to the crane track falling, it was suddenly press triangle in time, press triangle in time, press triangle in time. Now, the cinematic itself was brilliantly choreographed. Like, that was the coolest way Spider-Man could have saved the day.
It was a cool cutscene.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would have preferred just a cutscene. I would have been like, all right, cutscene this for me, and then throw me in control later.
Yeah, and again, me and Mike aren't like game developers. Like, I don't have a solution in my head of how I would have in gameplay wrapped up that fucking thing falling and done all that shit, but I maybe just don't do it then. I don't know. I'm so over QTEs. Like,
they could have solved it pretty quickly with a couple of things. One, I've seen games where they do scenes like that, but they'll give you at least physical motion control. So maybe you're not going to be doing the webbing, but you just have to press forward and keep pushing forward. That gives you a sense of urgency.
That you're actually, he's going forward, I'm pushing forward. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing it.
And if you don't push forward, then the crane falls.
They had a small moment of that when the helicopter's going out of control, and it looked like you needed to aim to get the QTE to actually trigger. Like, you need to aim first and then hit it, and then you shot web. Yeah. And he saved people or whatever.
And even when they're hanging on the belly of the helicopter, it looked like you were pressing back and forward to switch sides of the helicopter to try and get to the other side.
And this is unconfirmed. I think I heard this in some impressions. But I think if you don't do those QTEs, it's not just game over. I think just different shit happens.
Yeah.
I think. So I don't think... Because that was a lot of QTEs to fail if you were going to have to go back and do it. I think the game just keeps going in a way. Like, it's just like, oh,
it's you're a shitty Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah, you're a shitty... Yes, exactly. You're a shitty Spider-Man. Yeah. So yeah, and then they fucking... You QTE fest until the demo ends and Mr. Negative smiles at you. Also, Mr. Negative... Weird choice, but apparently they got asked to use a couple more obscure Marvel characters from Marvel specifically.
Fine.
Yeah, which is fine.
He's not a bad character.
Mr. Negative? No, he created Anti-Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love Mr. Negative. Yeah. Everyone loves Mr. Negative. Everyone's heard of him. I didn't even recognize who it was at first. I had to hear from someone else who was Mr. Negative.
Well, I did too. But
I was honestly like, you have all of Spider-Man's rogue gallery? And I was like, can you get an Asian guy in a business suit who shoots electricity? I was so like angry about it. So then we get the stinger. We get the classic Marvel after the credits stinger.
And it couldn't have been more of a lame duck.
Miles, quit photographing Webb. Come back home. It was Miles Morales. The least hype thing they could have done. I was telling Mike earlier that they really could have just like showed... Like, they even could have showed a school, been like, the Octavio Institute, and I would be like, oh! Like, anything. Yeah. Norman Osborn, or like, Kingpin on the phone, he's like, yes, Norman. He could have said, yes, Norman, and I would have been like, jerking my dick. Like, anything. A pumpkin bomb on the floor rolling across, and it's saying, like, like, whatever. It could have been any one of his big, like, slightly bigger villains than Mr. Negative, and I would have been like, redeemed, but like, it was Miles Morales, and I was like, oh.
And I'm like, great, so you're going to put more Spider-Man in your Spider-Man?
Yeah, and apparently he plays a big role. So let's read some details on the Spider-Man game. Pretty big open world. We have bigger details than that. Spidey can traverse very quickly off the bat, but skilled players will traverse even faster. The demo only scratched the very surface of the story. I would hope so. Yeah. Story is massive. There will be some obscure Spidey characters along with some familiar ones. To avoid repetition when performing some of the same tasks, Spidey will have a ton of quips. So you're going to be doing the same shit a lot, so we did a lot of voice acting.
Yeah. And also, Spidey will do a ton of quips. I think there's of defining factors of Spider-Man. There's webbing, the spider suit, and quips.
Yep. That's
about Spider-Man. So
he swings like a spider can.
Yeah.
He quips like Andrew Garfield.
And if he's swinging through the city and says nothing for like 20 minutes while you swing across the city, that sounds pretty lame.
This sucks. Yep. All right. The game is single player only. I don't think anyone thought it was going to have multiplayer, but just to put anyone's fears to rest. Yeah. The game
4 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, 4 Spider-Mans. They did that game. Yeah. The game is mostly open world, but there are some cinematic linear segments. The open world is 4 to 6 times the size of Sunset Overdrive, which was already pretty big, I thought. You won't be killing anyone in the game, which we saw with the L1 save the guy. But I think it's just automatically like saves him too because
you know some assholes are going to sit out there and just be like, I'm not picking you.
Yeah, what if you just punch that guy off the ledge and he's and you don't press L1, you're just like, I'm a murderer. There will be a lot of gameplay and story segments where you play as Peter Parker going about his day instead of Spider-Man.
That's cool.
They say it will actually focus as much on Peter as it does on Spider-Man, but I don't know if that statement just applies to the story or to the gameplay segments as well. I was talking to my former roommate and we went on a wish list of Spider-Man stuff we wanted, and he mentioned Persona 5, but Peter Parker, like the social elements of it, and I was like, that may be too far, but you have something there.
There's something there, though.
Yeah, with the social elements of
I
it.
like that.
Like
maintaining your relationship with Mary J. And
with
not
Mary J.
pissing off
or between your job or whatever, or
and
saving
your,
them.
the school and going to school in time, making sure that Aunt May isn't pissed with you and getting eggs for her or something. Right?
Yeah.
Something
like that would be really cool.
Yeah.
The mission from the gameplay demo will be a bit different in the final version. For example, they mentioned you save a lot more people in the actual game, and there are actually failure states, but for the purpose of the demo, they changed things up a bit. Okay, so maybe I heard wrong. They note that Spider-Man is 23 in the game, and has been Spider-Man for 8 years, so he's pretty accomplished. Though you may have noticed in the trailer, he's far from 100% confident in himself. They confirm that Miles Morales was the guy at the end of the trailer. Yep.
Yeah.
They won't say if he's playable, but they mention he's there because they want to show this is a different kind of Spider-Man story. They also know
they're like, we're not racist.
That's what they're trying to get across.
Yeah.
It's the only black person they have in the game.
Yeah.
We're not racist.
There's one.
Just the one. They also note that Miles' role is much bigger than a cameo. Marvel noted that they want to keep they want their games to help develop their less known characters as well, and Insomniac mentioned that Miles' inclusion was part of this initiative. Marvel has previously noted that they view diversity in gaming as extremely important, so there's that factor as well. Okay, you're right, it is an I'm not racist thing. There will also be villains beyond Mr. Negative and Kingpin. I would fucking hope so.
Yes. If my entire enemy force consisted of charged Mr. Negative people and just Kingpin...
From jail. He's already not a threat.
Yeah. You're like, why are you even doing this, Spider-Man? The cops could take out the one guy.
No, I got it.
I got webbing.
Causing destruction all over the city.
Yeah.
In case it wasn't obvious, this is not tied to any existing Spider-Man story. They talk a bit more about gadgets and how you can use things like tripwires on 2 people instead of just traditionally. They're trying to have a lot of combat options.
That's neat.
For the most neurotic fans, Insomniac assures that the white Spider-Man symbol is meaningful and has a purpose that's explained in-game.
What?
So on his suit, it's a white Spider-Man emblem.
Okay. I was caring?
What? Because it's not the black symbol, I guess, and people care that it's not black. But there's a reason for it being white. I don't want the darkness in my heart. Like, what is it going to be? Like, who cares? Like,
is it going to be like the one from the movie where like it shoots cameras out of it or something? Like what?
Yeah, I have no idea. Who cares? It's white. They also note that web swinging isn't normally QTE based, but they use QTEs for cinematic moments.
All right, well, maybe there'll be less QTEing then in the actual final game. They were just doing it for this demo.
No, that means for cinematic moments like that one. I think.
Oh, maybe
that's
a
cinematic moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's behind the mask? We already fucking know. Is this an open world game? Yes, we already know that. What's up with the costume? Fans are a bit divided about the new costume, and some people don't like the large white spider icon on Spider-Man's chest.
Why?
Who cares?
I didn't even think of that until someone said something, and even then I still don't care.
Yeah.
It's just the spider symbol. Like, he's had like 20,000 costumes.
Yeah, he's had so many costumes.
Yes. He had a white spider on the black one. Is the black costume a bad one?
Yeah, I don't know. How does upgrading work? In Insomniac's version of Spider-Man, Peter has created his own web shooters. Unique. His team wants to showcase Peter's intelligence and ingenuity. They wouldn't detail how this works, but hinted that Spider-Man will create new gear throughout the game. The demo showed off one neat toy, a tripwire web bomb that Spider-Man can affix to enemies or the environment. Whenever an enemy crosses the trip laser, they get hit with an explosion, web fluid stuck to a blah blah blah.
I like that though, because like I always thought about that about Spider-Man was that he's supposed to be like this genius, like intelligent level guy, right? And then he spends most of his time like his whole solution is to punch it, right? Mm-hmm. I would, except for maybe in the cartoon where he's not allowed to punch things, so he has to stick webbing into a lot of electrical ports
or throw people.
Yeah,
there was a lot of throwing in that show.
Yeah. But for that situation, I would like to see him invent some shit. Because, like, everyone else does. Why can't Spider-Man?
Are these QuickTime events going to be annoying? Hard to tell at this point, but Insomniac seems sensitive to fans' concerns. The team says that these QuickTime button prompts will be used to heighten the action during high spectacle moments, but the plan is to use QuickTime events sparingly.
Well, that also sounds like just, like, them backpedaling. But
yeah, who knows? The whole QTE thing is just so disappointing to see on screen, and I know it was probably for an E3 demo, and they wanted to create a big moment and have it, look good and be easy to play if they were playing it live or whatever. So, whatever. I was overall underwhelmed by that game. I'm still excited by it. Like, I still am looking forward to seeing more Spider-Man because I want to like it more. But I was totally underwhelmed by it. And then that was what they ended on was Spider-Man.
Yep. There we go.
There was... Oh, man. I want to talk about one moment, though, where I thought Devil May Cry 5 was happening. My hopes were up.
When?
They showed Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Oh, yeah.
The stinger to that trailer, like, they fade to black. They're like, demo now. Fades to black.
Yeah.
It's Rocket Raccoon and Dante. And Rocket was like, hey, can I use those things? And he was like, sure. He tosses Ebony and Ivory over. And, like, I was like, are they going to transition? They're going to pan back and, like, transition this into being a Devil May Cry 5 reveal? No, not even slightly at all. Not even slightly at all.
I never thought that would happen.
Oh, everyone thought it was happening. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, all the people I was watching as it was going on Twitter and stuff, I was like, is this the DMC5? Like, no. Dreams dashed. That would have been the point.
I didn't think that was happening at that point, but alright.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been the point to do it.
It's true.
That would have been the point to do it.
Of course, I knew that it wasn't going to ever happen, so...
Man, so many DMC5 believers out there. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy to watch us all get crushed in disappointment. Alright, last up was Nintendo, who may or may not have stolen the show for you. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of great stuff. Of course, Super Mario Odyssey was the best.
It was also very odd. I mean, to see us have, like, Ghost Super Mario, or even then the Psyche diving Super Mario who dives into people's bodies and shit.
We body horror now.
Yeah.
It's me, horror.
Yeah. Like, he showed up in a town and actually did it to a human being.
A human being! Yeah. A regular-looking human being. He's like, I'm gonna fucking be you.
I'm gonna be inside you.
I'm gonna be inside you, bitch. Yeah.
You're gonna grow a mustache right now. You like my mustache.
It's a me! In you! Woohoo! Yeah. Just fucking dives in him. Crazy cool mechanic. Did not expect this at all from Super Mario Odyssey.
No, yeah.
And I was already like stoked on what we'd seen before, whatever trailer we'd gotten. I was like, oh yes, I get to run and jump as Mario. And in this one, they're like, you could be a T-Rex, you can be a frog, you can be a man, you can be a ghost, you could be a fucking stone with sunglasses.
A lamppost, whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and they all seem to have different mechanics and different things to do. It looks like there's so much variety in that game that you're going to be doing.
It looks like a ton of fun. It's not open world. I've seen some of the gameplay where, like, some of them have climbed to the top of the highest buildings in New Donk City. And it's a very clear edge. It's like a floating city in the air kind of deal. But nevertheless, it's larger than anything we've ever had before in a Mario game. And on the Switch, probably. Yeah, and more platform and more like cityscape kind of like parkour stuff going on. So tons of fun. As a matter of fact, I'm now primed to buy myself a Switch.
Yes. Yeah. I'm even more excited to get one now.
Yeah. Like, I want...
And that's also coming out this year. I thought for sure they were going to delay it. I thought for sure they're going to be typical Nintendo, show us, like, 30 seconds of Mario and be like, sorry, you're not getting it for 3 years. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. It looks so cool. Yeah. I'm so, like, what a jolly looking game. What a jolly game.
It looks great.
Yeah. That was actually the end of the press conference, but whatever, fuck it. Mm-hmm. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
This is important to people.
People really like this. My former roommate really likes this, the first game. Mm-hmm. He liked it a lot. I think it just looks like... It seems like it has elements of a lot of stuff I like. Mm-hmm. Large monster creatures, a big sword you can hit it with, but, like, not hitting for me.
It doesn't draw me in.
No, it looks very generic anime, art style also, which I'm not down with.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC.
Yay.
Whatever. Apparently there was DLC, Mike. Who knew?
Who knew? And apparently we were calling that they never do that, but I guess they're on to the DLC world.
Yep. Rocket League was announced for Switch.
Which is great.
That's a perfect platform for it, right? Yep. Like, people want it on the go. Great, you got it now. Kirby looked cute.
Yeah.
Yoshi looked cuter. He's all made of yarn and shit. Yeah. And all the arts and crafts fucking aesthetic. Those games look boring as fuck. They look dull. They look like they're for children.
Yeah.
But, like, the visual style is, like...
Oh, yeah.
I love the...
They nailed Nintendo for the games that they were making here. Like, this was, like, the prime Nintendo feel they were going for. They got it.
Metroid, or no, sorry, not getting to that yet. We're getting to the exciting stuff after. Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yep.
Dynasty Warriors. If you wanna just kill like 9,000 people in one swing as Marth,
yeah.
Just go for it, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That's a great RPG. It's being remastered. Remastered, quote unquote. It's like a fucking 3DS game, whatever. Yeah. Those games are a lot of fun. Like the Mario and Luigi RPGs, I like them a lot.
They confirmed Pikmin 4 to be still in development. I didn't think people still fucking cared about Pikmin.
I've never cared about Pikmin.
No.
Never had any Splatoon 2, great, still coming out. Yeah. ARMS obviously had a big showcase.
Yep.
Now, let me get so before E3, they had this Pokemon Direct, right?
Yeah.
And they're total asswipes about it. They're like, hey, here's a Wii U game on the Switch, Pokken Tournament, fine.
Yeah. And
here's Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra for the 3DS only. It's just those games, but there's some extra shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just buy it, you fucking idiots. And then they're like, one more thing. And everyone's like, it's gonna be Pokemon Switch. You remember Pokemon Gold on the Game Boy? You could download it now on Switch. And you're like, who fucking cares? No one wants this. And then they're like, goodbye. And you're like, I guess that's it. I guess E3 sucks now. So they come out, and they're filming the Pokemon company man, and he's at his desk, and he looks up, he's like, oh, hello. Didn't see you there. We're doing, and there's probably like a gun right off screen to his head. And he's like, we're definitely doing a Pokemon RPG mainline game for the Nintendo Switch. It might be over a year away, and here's like the gun cock, like, and he's like, it'll be soon. Look forward to it. We have 0 things to show.
Yeah.
And then it just like fades back to black, and like Reggie's like, that's very exciting. Like the most weirdest non-Nintendo way to announce things, and like also completely lackluster, even though that announcement fills me with joy.
Yeah.
The announcement itself does, but like, can you imagine just like Square got up and was like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is happening, and walked off?
Yeah.
Not nearly as good as the trailer we got, you know, like that. You need something. Yeah. You could have done something.
I feel like that was a little bit of a stuff for all of this. I think
that was like everyone shut up, it's happening, just talk into this camera and say it's happening.
Yeah, well, I think that's Nintendo's kind of thing for all of their big announcements that came out of this. It was kind of just that. They don't have a lot of content that's been made. Like, they would show it if they had it, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have the content as per...
Well, clearly the Pokemon Company is working on like 3 other ports right now, so like they're probably not working on it.
No, and that's when it is coming, I give it like 3 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
He said like late. He said like next year, but I don't know if he meant like release. He probably just meant look forward to seeing it next year. I guess.
I think he's going to see. You'll see some content, but you won't get the game for another 3.
Yeah, 2. I'm going to say probably. But yeah, so the most lackluster way to announce something that I've always wanted is a mainline Pokemon game on a console, because all the console Pokemon games have been fucking Pokemon Stadium or
Pokemon Snap.
Or Pokemon Snap, where you're like, this is fine, it's not what I want. Like,
no, well, even then, I'd ride a rail around the same island 2,000 times to take pictures of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's
you could beat that game in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the big one is they come out and like the dude in charge of Nintendo's like, hey, in this press conference, we're only going to be talking about games coming out like in 2017. And then like fades to black, and then like. And they're like, regardless of that fact, here's Metroid Prime 4 in development now. And you're like, what?
Yeah, and it's just
you
a logo.
Immediately disregarded your own statement with that Pokemon thing and the Metroid thing.
And that's the thing, they came back and they again with nothing. Now, again, fills us both with much joy and internal happiness to know that Metroid Prime 4 is a thing.
Yep.
And it's real. But again, it was just a fucking logo. Like, they're just like, yes, it is happening. Shut up and leave us alone. 4 years.
That's what that was. That was a shut up, leave us alone. We know everyone wants a Metroid. It's happening.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised it's Metroid Prime 4 though. Honestly, this game Metroid Prime 4 is not being done by Retro. It's having I guess the same producer. But we still don't know what Retro is working on. And they made all the Metroid Prime games before this and the new Donkey Kong games. The last 2. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Donkey Kong Country Returns. So really exciting. But again, you didn't show fucking anything.
Nothing.
I guess I would rather have the announcement than nothing at all. But so Nintendo has some cool stuff in their fucking conference. And then right after that, during their Treehouse presentation, they're like, oh, also new 2D Metroid.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Where is this from? Why are you doing this?
So this game is, it's actually a remake of the second Metroid game.
Which is one of the best.
Which was on the Game Boy, yeah, and it's a great game. And not a lot of people played it, I don't think. So, and Mercury Steam is working on it. They did a Castlevania portable game before.
Yeah.
They did Silent Hill Origins on the PSP, which I enjoyed. And they did another Silent Hill game, maybe one for the Wii, Shattered Memories. Anyways, it seems like they're getting a lot of cues from Nintendo on how to make this feel like Metroid. It seems like they got some cool new mechanics in there, like a parry and a dodge and stuff. I think the game's graphics look a little bit lackluster. Like, they just kind of like look like graphics, if that makes sense.
You mean
there's
for the 2D?
Yeah, for the 2D one.
Yeah.
It looks like it just looks kind of generic. Like the Metroid style isn't like seething through. It's not that stylized, but other than that, I'm very excited about it. I guess I'm finally playing a 3DS game again because I haven't played one in like 2 years. But that's it. That's all of E3.
Yeah, that was it. So what was your initial final impression of the entire conference? Not any one particular one.
I think like we said before, it was a solid showing this year. Just no real surprises.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Anthem thing was surprising to see what it finally looked like and how great it was.
Yeah.
Again, we knew it was coming though. We knew Project Dylan was being shown.
I didn't really care so much about being like shown how absolutely surprising. Like, I mean, I would love to have had that. I would have loved them to come out and been like, you know, fucking Breath of Fire 20.
Yeah.
Like, whatever the fuck it was, I would have loved to have that. But it wasn't like a make or break deal for the whole show. However,
but again, I also feel like for me personally, a lot of the trailers that they showed of stuff that was already out.
Yeah.
I felt the trailers last year were better, or these ones weren't as strong.
And that's my thing. I felt the content from this year was not nearly as strong. That God of War trailer represented a lot of stuff that I was not looking forward to, and could not even represent what the final game is and how it will function. Who knows, right? There's a lot of stuff inside of a lot of those trailers where I was like, oh, okay, great, thanks, I guess. Thanks for the video content, at least. Like the cinematic stuff. You know, and the only one that got me at the end of the day was the Anthem stuff. The Anthem stuff, when I saw that, I was like, who makes a game that good after making something that subpar? You know?
Well, I mean, it is the rest of BioWare doing it. It wasn't the same team as Andromeda, right?
Yeah. So, I think I'm along the same page. I'm along the line of, it's not quite that... the content was good. It was a solid E3. I enjoyed a lot of the content announcements that happened, but I wasn't overwhelmed.
No, that's the thing. I think there's a lot of solid-looking things. Even like stuff like Days Gone, where we're like, looks good, but you know, like kind of some stuff like that, where we're just a little.
What else you got?
Yeah, exactly. Although, yeah, I am stoked. That like fucking Mario Odyssey actually is coming out this year. Yeah. Wolfenstein: Evil Within 2 are coming out this year.
I love the fact that my latter half of my year is now jam-packed again.
Yeah, there's actually stuff coming out that me and him are interested in playing. Because it's not like there wasn't stuff before. It's just stuff that we weren't interested in.
No.
But yeah, overall, solid E3.
Enjoyable.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 for you.
7.
That's what I say. And again, like I said, there's announcements that were very exciting with the core Switch game, Pokemon Switch game. I was fucking over the moon about that, but I just wish there was a little more to it. He could have showed a sketch that was like Pokemon Galaxy? Question mark? And I would have been like, yes. Same thing with Spider-Man thing. Show any villain, I would have been like, my dick would have been hard. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Cal G. You can find me on Twitter at the Cal G. You can find Mike at Mike Kentraws. Pens and Pixels across all social medias. Pick your poison.
Yeah. So make sure to give us a like, share, and subscribe on iTunes, YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. So you can get all the latest updates and news. Please leave us a comment of any kind. We love hearing from you guys. We respond back instantaneously if we can. We want to hear what you guys think, what you guys want to hear about. So be sure to do that. And then other than that.
Arrivederci!
Get out.
Look forward to a filler cast next week. Another 5-minute warning.
Yeah.
That's it, though. Get out.
Yeah, just sort of the sound of a door. Like us going out. Slam.
I put that in one last episode. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. We should get the whole thing. The whole...